The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey,
Why?
let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You ping.
Damn it! Your friend tell a friend something nice could change their life.
Here we go, the Pat McAfee Show. Feel good. Friday the 13th, boys. Don't get too scared. Don't get worried, guys. It's going to be all right. We have a great show ahead for you guys. Football is always on the top of our minds, isn't it, Pat? Obviously, last night we had a bit of a back-and-forth game, one that's I think people have a little mixed emotions about what happened last night. The Buffalo Bills win 31-10 over the Miami Dolphins. Pat, what's your initial thoughts on that game? Obviously, everyone talking about Tua, but also the Bills played very, very well.
Yeah, heartbroken for Oos, obviously, and that was a scary scene there. And on the complete opposite side, shout out to Damar Hamlin completing his full comeback, led the team in tackles. But anytime you see a player, especially one that we know in the past has had certain injuries in the, to the head area before, end up like that on prime time, not great news. I will say to Tua and his family and his friends, we are all incredibly bummed out. Because what we've seen Tua do as a Miami Dolphins quarterback, especially after getting this new deal with Tyreek, with Waddle, with all the weapons they have, it is electrifying. Football is better whenever Tua is under center for that McDaniel offense for the Miami Dolphins. Now, for the game part of this entire thing, boy, Josh Allen continues his dominance of the Miami Dolphins. And I wanted to come in here and just dunk on Gumpy and all the Dolphins fans that thought last night was an opportunity for them to win. The injury to Tua obviously dampers that entire thing. What's the future look like with Skylar Thompson? But the Buffalo Bills don't look now. Massive comeback win week one, a dominating win on Thursday Night Football. And this new era of Buffalo Bills football feels like it's going to be Josh Allen led with a defense that is physical. AJ, you talk about this. Whenever we played, when we were down there for the Texas-Oklahoma game, you could tell who was the more dominant team by how they were hitting, how they were getting up. It felt like the Buffalo Bills defense with a lot of new pieces, with some names that we don't know, and Bernard gets hurt early. He's one of the names that everybody was kind of like rallying around, and that linebacker position seems to be snake bitten for the Buffalo Bills. But whenever they're getting up, they were hitting. They were very physical. Felt like they were the much more physical team in this entire thing. So I'm very high on the Buffalo Bills after last night. I'm bummed out for the Miami Dolphins. But I thought, it was a nice start to week 2 of the NFL season, AJ.
Yeah, it definitely was. And I know, I'm sure we'll talk more about Tua's head situation and what happened with him. But I think, first off, you got to give this D-line credit for the Buffalo Bills. Von Miller, obviously looking like his old self. We have some stuff of him. I know he's getting some crazy get-offs, crazy times. How fast he is getting to the quarterback. Fastest, right? Which is nuts to think. I mean, look at this dude's get off. Boom. He's unbelievable. He uses his hands very, very well. Epinesa obviously had some great pressures all night. Love watching this team. But you're right. It felt different. It felt like a team that knew that they were going to win, or a team that was expecting to win. I think offensively and defensively, they felt like it's like, hey, these guys are absolutely confident in what the plan is, and they seem to go out there and execute that thing.
They certainly did. And McDermott's got to be thrilled. Obviously, anytime you lose a lot of big-name players like they have, Poyer, Morse, Stephon Diggs just had 2 touchdowns for the Houston Texans. And then you let James Cook, which I think has been a Joe Brady staple ever since he's gotten the reins of the Buffalo Bills offense. It's like new stars are about to blossom up there in Buffalo, and we know the Bills Mafia is going to be insane. James Cook went bananas. And people have said, let James Cook. Did you hear that? Oh, yeah. Let James Cook.
Yeah.
Do you see what? Do you understand what that means though? Like, because his name is James Cook.
Shit!
Sure.
That just started yesterday,
thought
right?
It was like cook like a chef.
Huh.
All right. Everybody relax. Everybody relax. But this has been the Buffalo Bills calling card since Joe Brady became the offense coordinator. Everybody for that Buffalo Bills team after the first game when Joe Brady was the offense coordinator last year, coming down the tunnel after James Cook goes bananas, looks at the social media team for the Buffalo Bills and says, let James Cook. That has literally been the entirety of it all. We were very confused why James Cook was not getting the rock early with Dorsey last year. Now it feels like they know he's a guy. They're going to treat him as a guy. And Josh Allen, with his ability to run, with James Cook now a very viable threat every single week, it's like, look out. And Shakir's doing his thing. You got Kincaid making plays. Knox is going to show up for them. It's like this Buffalo Bills team has to feel great. And to your point about Von Miller, I talked to him down at Texas A&M. He said he felt healthy. He felt good. He was ready to bounce back, prove a lot of people wrong. He renegotiated his contract, restructured it to give the Buffalo Bills more money. Feels like he's in a great spot. Brandon Beane had a very tight tie on whenever he was up in the booth last night. They showed him. Feels like vibes are through the roof for the Buffalo Bills and Bills Mafia, as they should be. Now, on the flip side, Gumpy.
Come on.
Gumps, this was it. This was the year. This was potentially going to be it. You know, the vibes are high. This is the best team I've been on, Tyreek Hill said. And then obviously the potential galvanizing situation that took place before week one on the streets of Miami there. And then you got a short week taking on a division rival that you haven't had much success against. And then obviously the Tua injury is a bummer. But before that even happened, felt like Buffalo had this game in the bag. Gumps, how do you feel, bub? How does the Finn fam, how's the Doll fam feel about everything going on in Miami right now? Skylar Thompson's the guy going forward, I guess, and is that the only quarterback they're going to have? How do you feel, Gumps?
Feels like it was a good season. There's that there's that sweet comeback week one. We're behind at half. You know, we marched back. Yeah, the Tua stuff is heartbreaking. Obviously, love him at quarterback, love him on the Dolphins team. But, like, even before that, like, the Bills were running through us. Like, we didn't replace – like the Wilkins thing, we talk about it all the time. He didn't get replaced. Jacksonville ran all over us. Like, I want to be optimistic, but right now, I tell you what, it is the same old Dolphins, brother. It never changes.
I don't want to cut you off, but I know I just did. Do you want them to go sign somebody to be the starting quarterback, though? Like, what do Miami fans think? Do you want to bring Tom Brady in? Like, what's the plan?
Everybody wants them to bring Tanny home.
I've heard Tom Brady as well. They want to get him out of the booth and bring him down.
Let me throw out something else, and maybe not the best idea. Call the Rams. Jimmy G knows the system. Let Jimmy G go. Why not? Like, what options? I don't know what options we have. It's Tanny or Jimmy G, or even call the Broncos for Stidham. Stidham can
trade for Carson Wentz.
Mike White practice squad.
Like I said, options are limited here, boys. I mean,
what about
it's a good season, like I said.
The Tom Brady situation is certainly a hilarious one to think about. Like, what if Tom Brady did some self-assessment after week one in the booth and said, nah, I'm not doing it.
What?
And then if he goes and plays somewhere else, can he still be the owner of the Raiders if he's playing for the Dolphins? Because we do know that it has now come out true that there was a potential chance him and Sean Payton go down to Miami. There's Tampa, yada, 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 yada. That'd be a fun little story. It sucks that Joe Flacco is such a vital piece of the Indianapolis Colts because it feels like he would be perfect for that Miami Dolphins offense. I think the only thing they should be worrying about is a quarterback that is accurate. That is the only thing that they should be looking for, because with that offense, if you're accurate, you're going to be able to kind of manage it and go through it. I just heard Tone Diggs there, though, say, we're talking about new quarterbacks. And I think we heard Coach McDaniel, who kissed Tua on the forehead last night, and everybody kind of made a big deal out of that. Obviously, he loves him like he's his own boy. You know, I think that is how McDaniel coaches and cares about. He said everybody just automatically talking about what Tua should do is kind of a disservice to Tua. Like, this is his career, not everybody else's career. I think everybody, though, with the world that we're in, with everything we've seen and that Dr. Will Smith movie and what the future could look like, everybody 2 years ago was thinking that Tua should not play football again. Now it happens again on primetime football. Feels like everybody's calling for him to not play football. To Diggs's point of his tweet, I think it's going to be very difficult to tell Tua not to play football again. I think it's going to be very difficult for that decision to be made by him, especially as somebody that loves, breathes, and eats football like Tua has his entire life with his family. But that is certainly a decision that they're going to have to make over the next few weeks, and I'll be excited to see the reaction to all of it. Tone, I think your big takeaway is, like, it's going to be very difficult just to tell Tua to stop playing football, right? That's kind of your takeaway of it all?
He's a competitor and a football player, and he's had, I think, 4 or 5 diagnosed concussions. he had 3 in 2022, and then this one, and then as a senior at Alabama. And yeah, that's a lot of concussions. But like as a football player, he's gonna feel better, probably, hopefully in a couple weeks. And once you feel better as a football player, like your natural instinct is just to get back on the field. Like, yes, he has a family, his children or whatever, but as a football player, like, and that's all you know, and that's all you've done, and you're still young in your whole life, like it's going to be really hard to convince him not to play football anymore. When hopefully, after these concussion symptoms clear, he feels perfectly fine again. Like as a football player, once you feel perfectly fine again, you want to be back on the football field.
And I think, like, there's going to be people that are going to come out and say, like, you got to take it out of his hands. Like, the adult in the room is going to have to make the decision. And then, you know, Tua's probably going to say, well, I had 3 concussions in that one season. I'm pretty still quick with it. You know, like.
Yeah. He is the adult, though, Pat. He is an adult. Yeah. So all they can do is present him all the information, present him everything, all the tests, let you know. Like, you can get 10 different opinions from different doctors, but it's not anybody's decision but Tua and his family, like what he does. It's not even up to us to. We can tell him whatever we want, have an opinion, but this is the dude's life. This is what he's doing. Like, and there's guys getting concussions all over the field. It's a terrible situation, obviously, but like we can't sit there and tell Tua, hey, you better shut it down, buddy, because you're not gonna have a great life after football. Like, that's on him.
Hey, there's some real grandstanding going on right now.
So much. Yeah. It's crazy.
Well, I found out last night his next concussion, it's either death or paralyzed is what.
Oh, who said that?
The doctors on the internet is what a lot of them said last night. So that's, I mean, if that is the case, if the next one that happens, he should definitely.
What do you think, Pat? I don't know what that.
We're moving. There's a TV here that is like right below me, so I'm looking straight down. I'm asking if they can put it up on this table over here, so it is not as drastic. Great work by this team here. I want to let you know this team here. Thank you. If we could get it near TV there, thank you so much. It's an incredible team here with a lot of hardworking people, which I genuinely appreciate and everything like that. But like for me, I think it's going to be very difficult to tell him to stop playing football, especially after the big deal that was just signed and everything. And if you listen to what Kirk Herbstreit said last night during the call, and we'll talk about Al Michaels for sure. A lot of people talk about Al Michaels, but during the call, Herbie said that the only thing Tua wants to do is win. You know, all Tua wants to do is win, win, win. That's all he thinks about. It's like, is Tua going to end his football career on a Thursday Night Football loss to the Buffalo Bills in week 2? I know a lot of other people have ideas for him. I think it's going to be very difficult to get him to say that. And I think that was what McDaniel was kind of alluding to whenever he was like, hey, this is his career. This isn't everybody else's. But boy, there's a lot of people that know brain trauma and have watched movies and documentaries that are telling him he needs to not play anymore. And for me, if he chose not to play anymore, I would understand. But if he chose to play again, I think that's the most expected outcome. Yeah. And I know that's not me saying that. That's not me saying. I'm just trying to tell you what I think is inevitable here in a few weeks for Tua Tagovailoa.
Do we know what the whole concussion protocol, if there's any time frame? Like, he could technically, he could clear the protocol in 3 or 4 weeks and be back out there if he wanted to. I'm not saying he will or that's going to happen, but that's possible, right?
Sooner.
1 week, right?
Yeah, they don't play for 10 days.
Exactly.
Yeah. See, that's what's not like. We don't know. In 5-6 days from now, we'll see if whenever he does speak. But yeah, it's on him, man. Like, that's not on us, I think, to tell him how his brain feels, Ty.
Well, and I don't know this for certain, but Pat, you kind of always talk about this too. It's like, with these guys, like when everyone today is basically saying, like, you know, like you said, hey, you got to take this out of Tua's hands. He's got to retire. He's got to make the right move for his family and everything. When you have everyone telling you, hey, you got to retire. You have to do this. You can't keep
What
playing.
Does every athlete do?
Yeah, there's a good chance.
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
playing.
It's like, oh, okay, nobody believes in me. Everyone thinks I'm done for. Like, well, how awesome would it be if I do clear the protocol? And I'm not saying this week necessarily, but it could be this week. I clear the protocol, and then what if he goes out and throws for 4 touchdowns, you know, next Sunday and is completely unscathed? It's like, oh yeah, and you guys wanted me to retire. Like, obviously he knows the risks that are there, but I don't know. I just feel like when everyone is telling a guy who's one of 32 in the NFL, like, hey, you need to retire. You need to protect yourself. It's like, okay. Or I can just kind of think about this for a little bit and I can go spin the pill, which is what I really want to do.
Yeah. Pat, do you think, okay. I mean, I guess I don't wonder if everything's going to die down when it comes to this, with Tua's situation, of everyone letting him know what he should do. But yeah, it would be really weird to see him out there in 2 or 3 weeks and see him take another shot. Obviously, that's going to be the conversation. I don't want to see that. Nobody wants to see that, but there's no guarantee that happens. I don't know. I hope Tua and his family at least have a plan going forward, and hopefully he figures something out because we all worry about him, and his coach does. Obviously, we see the kiss on the head and everything. I was glad that Tua got up and walked away. I know he's been stretchered off with concussions. I was very happy to see him walking off the field.
I don't know the Tagovailoa family, but I've heard about him. Right? Well, there's been a lot of stories told about Tua's dad and how he grew up. And I guess he's a righty, but it made him like the whole amount of football and how much football is meant to this family. I think it's going to be very difficult if he gets cleared to go play to tell him he shouldn't play because of potential. That's just a whole nother story. But let's talk about the AFC East a little bit now, shall we? Because New England Patriots undefeated still. And we need to celebrate that for as long as we can. Right?
Amen.
Connor?
Amen. Yep. Right now, we are Super Bowl contenders, and let's not forget that as we head into week 2.
But nobody had the Patriots being worth a damn this year. Obviously, the New York Jets have a tough one with the Niners to start the entire season. We think they're going to be able to figure it out. We think Aaron's going to be able to figure it out. We assume the defense is going to play better than they have played. And then you talk about the Miami Dolphins. What are they? Depending upon what the quarterback decision is, can they stop anybody from running? And then the Buffalo Bills, it's like, they're clear leaders in the clubhouse here whenever it comes to AFC's football. And it's like, does this make the AFC's like a favorite to go on? Like, are the Buffalo Bills, after what we saw here last night and then what we saw against Arizona with their ability to come back, is this year the Buffalo Bills go? Like, is this the year the Buffalo Bills go? And that's the only conversation about the Buffalo Bills, which kind of sucks for them. They've earned their right to be in that convo, but it's like, did what we see last night warrant a potential Super Bowl run or even knocking off Patrick Mahomes on the AFC side or on the AFC side? I'll say, yeah, I was impressed as shit by the Buffalo Bills last night. How physical they were. Just so physical on the defensive side of the ball. Damar Hamlin, a lot of people had a lot of jokes about Damar Hamlin playing, and starting for the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, yeah.
And he's a Yinzer, so I'll always have massive respect for him and obviously everything that took place. Led the team in tackles, physical. Absolutely
8 tackles.
physical.
Great.
Von Miller heard everything everybody said. It's like this team seemingly, and Kirk Herbstreit's big takeaway yesterday was Josh Allen doesn't feel obligated to throw to one person. So now it's just like whatever the best play is, like that can benefit a lot too. CJ Stroud benefited from it last year when it was like whatever the best play is, let's go ahead and make it. Joe Brady with another year in the system, it's like I'm very confident in the Bills all of a sudden. And I think 2 weeks ago you asked me that same question. It's different. You asked me in the first half against Arizona if I feel that way. It's vastly different. It's like this Buffalo Bills team last night on a Thursday night, short week, early in the season against a division rival, made me a believer. And a believer, if you will. And you hear what I said there?
Yeah. Very good.
Kind of like the Cook thing.
Wordplay. We give
Let
His last name.
James Cook. Okay? Yeah, because he cooks, you see.
Like on the field.
And then his last name.
Is Cook.
Cook.
Yeah.
First name's James.
Yeah,
We get it.
It's weird how we didn't do that with
Kinda.
Dalvin. Should have done that with Dalvin too. That was a miss. That was a miss on us.
Dalvin Cook. Well, the Buffalo Bills, they got big brains up there, which is even more of a believer in them as we look ahead into week 2 of the NFL season. I'm a believer in the Bills. I am a believer in Josh Allen. I doubted for a second. Shout out to the universe ball that Chuck Pagano threw into the hoop yesterday.
Yes.
Put me back on the Bills whenever I was kind of torn, going both ways. This is awesome, too. Josh Allen to the captain, Long Senior, is talking to him. He actually goes, "What's your fucking name?" He didn't even know the guy's name.
I didn't see you on the too deep, bud. Like I played with guys that done that before. Hey, man, they'd turn around. Yeah, turn around, bud. Let me see. Oh, I didn't even see you on the scouting report. Like, who are you? And then the guy's just so deflated usually.
That's the guy, captain. That guy's a captain right there.
Josh knows what he's doing. Josh is smart.
He was voted the best trash talker, the biggest trash talker in the NFL. And that's, second quarter, early second quarter, he slides down. That guy goes, "Yeah, that's what you're going to do all day." Josh just immediately, without hesitation, goes, "I don't even know who the hell you are." I enjoy this Bills team. I really do. And Gumpy, I'm sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm very sorry.
How about Dawkins, Pat? I mean, he was talking shit just by the way he was lining up. Oh yeah,
That was a thing of beauty.
Like,
what was he doing, Tone?
All week long, we were talking about how they were the illegal formation penalty, and then Dawkins just lined up on the line of scrimmage. Like he doesn't give a shit where. Like he doesn't give a shit about where he is at all. Like he knows that's how supremely confident he is in his get.
He looks like he's almost across the ball. Like he's the other way.
Hey, he's lining up like a wide receiver, bro. This is such subtle shit talk, not only to the Dolphins, but also to the NFL, to the refs, to everybody. And I guess he did it in week 1 as well. I wasn't as keen to have an eye on it. He's lined up further in front than the guard. And then there was a couple where he had to get all the – and Deion Dawkins, we know, is a talker, is a chirper, is awesome. awesome. And what he said about Tua afterwards, I think is very cool of Dion Dawkins. But there was a couple times where he like turned and ran almost to his spot to get there. It's like he's a freak athlete, obviously a tackle. But I appreciate him saying we're making a whole song and dance about the helmet breaking the belt buckle. Well, how about them breaking my belt buckle? I'm going to line up further on the line than everybody else, and I'm still going to dominate. I love that move out of Dion Dawkins. Just a little subtle shit talk. Subtle shit talk.
You think I heard Kirk last night saying the game? He said if the Bills can kind of keep this collective chip on their shoulder for the majority of the year, they should win a ton of football games. Yeah, I think Pat's actually setting up real quick to bring on an unbelievable guest down there from South Carolina. So they're getting all situated. They're dapping up, making sure they're getting their pleasantries out of the way. Pat, who do you have with you right now, buddy?
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it your entire life. Beamer ball, which means a focus on the most important phase of football, which is special teams. That came from his dad at Virginia Tech, where this man was a wide receiver. Now, head coach of the South Carolina Gamecocks. Go Cocks! Shane Beamer. Hey, good to see you, but they're clapping for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Great to be on with you guys. Thank you.
Hey, obviously, massive weekend here in Columbia. Game day's here. LSU's in town. You guys are hot. How do you feel going into the weekend? How do the boys feel?
Yeah, excited. We got an older group in a lot of ways, a bunch of old guys that have been around here for a while, and they're excited. And when we found out that you guys, Game Day was coming, Pat McAfee was coming, we found that out on Saturday night on the plane ride back from Kentucky, and there's been a level of excitement that's been sky high all week, and had a great week and excited about tomorrow.
Okay, so this is my first time down here.
Yep.
Not as hot as I thought it was going to be. This is really nice. I was like, dew point, I don't know what it is, pretty low. The temperature, fantastic. There's overcast, too, so I'm not even getting cooked, although inside out, naturally cooking. There was some clouds coming in this morning, so we were... the plane was doing one of these. What should we expect from the South Carolina fans tomorrow? I've heard nothing but amazing things about your crew.
Yeah, no, there's the best fans in America, and this is an unbelievable environment, stadium, day, night, doesn't matter. It'll be rocking in here tomorrow, and you're in for a treat. Excited that you're here, but this place, they love their college football, they love their Gamecocks, and there's a lot of excitement and buzz about this game, obviously, and can't wait to get started.
We looked up some stats on you. Do you know you're the only coach since 1978 to win twice by 20-plus points when being a 20-point dog?
I did know that.
Yeah, okay. Check your Wikipedia. That's smart. How do you describe this team that you have? You said an older group, but what should we expect whenever we watch them against LSU?
Yeah, right now we're a group that plays together, great connection. Got a guys, like I said, that have been around here for a while. Really good defense. We showed that last week up at Kentucky. Got a big challenge tomorrow against this LSU offensive line for sure. But a lot of really good players on our defense, and then an offense with a lot of good players. It's a lot of new faces, and they're coming around. Great special teams. We've been doing a good job from a special teams standpoint. We're going to need to tomorrow, but it's a group that's very hungry, very confident, and obviously we've had 2 good weeks and need to keep it going.
AJ, back in the studio, has a question for you.
Coach, a big game like this early in the season for your team. I know you have somewhat of a veteran team, but playing in a great atmosphere like that, what can it do for your team moving forward when they've had this experience? Like, how much can you gain from that confidence? I mean, regardless of what the score is, just being on that stage, I think, can pay dividends later in the year.
Yeah, great question. And that's one of the things that we talked about was, we went up to Kentucky last week and we handled a really tough environment on the road against a really good Kentucky team that they were a veteran team and were favored. And then we talked about it all. We've been talking about it all this week. Like that game last week against Kentucky, we're either going to look back at that game in 9 weeks or 10 weeks, whatever it is, and say that game really propelled us to a special season, or we're going to look back and say, what an opportunity we wasted after that performance at Kentucky. And that's one of the biggest challenges we have this week is just, nobody thought we were worth a crap last week. Nobody thought Game Day was going to be here this week. And we just went to work last week, the practice leading up to Kentucky, and we just worked. And that's what we've been talking about with our guys all week is just consistent routine, do what we did last week. We don't need to do more necessarily. Just continue to prepare and let's be at our best on Saturday and not let all the distractions, not let the fact that the Pat McAfee show is here mess with our prep, and not let the fact that College Game Day and everyone else is here as well. Let's just do what we do and go try and play our best on Saturday.
I don't want to point out some bad stats. Everywhere Game Day has gone, the home team has lost. But that changes this week. Now. We shall see. In Inside Baseball here, Inside Game Day, I think we all kind of knew it was either going to be South Carolina or Kentucky. Mm-hmm. So that game was literally Game Day game for us. And I don't know if you saw the pick section. I knew we were coming to South Carolina.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I was at the stadium, obviously, when you were making the picks, getting ready to go. But then you endeared yourself to a lot of Gamecocks, pretty much all of Gamecock
I love
Nation.
Sox.
As I know you do.
Who doesn't?
And when you made that pick, there were a lot of people that had your back and are excited to see you here tomorrow because of that pick.
So in Charlotte, last year, whenever we had game day for North Carolina, South Carolina, I had no idea. I thought it was going to be in because Charlotte, right, North Carolina. I had no idea about this fan base. And then once you start looking at your roster, and obviously South Carolina has produced some of the greatest football players of all time in your own backyard here. But then this Dylan Stewart guy.
Yeah.
Hey, he's a real deal. 6'6", 248.
Yeah.
Freshman. Edge rusher. And he's got this lean and dip. I mean, whenever you recruit somebody like that, and you see somebody like that, you immediately think to yourself, this guy's a game changer. And did you expect it this quickly with him?
I don't know if I expected it this quickly. We knew he was really talented when we recruited him. But then when he got here and he was able to go through spring practice, I mean, you get into spring practice and you realize pretty quickly this guy's pretty special. And then watching him over the summer, the way he developed, and then he had a great preseason. And we got a lot of other really good players in that defensive end edge room with him. I don't know if I expected him to do what he's done the first 2 weeks. And there's a lot to continue to improve on. And that's what's exciting about him and the rest of our team is we can be a lot better than what we showed last week, and him included.
I have a full breakdown on the youth movement of college football tomorrow, and Dylan's obviously a part of it. You talk about Raiola, you talk about Smith, you talk about Williams, you talk about Nico Iamaleava, who's a redshirt freshman. It's like there's a lot of young guys that have seemingly they're like 35-year-olds. I don't know how they've matured so quickly. It's a wonderful thing. Connor has a question for you back in the studio.
Yeah, Coach, when you're talking about the game tomorrow, and obviously you guys really did, and I watched the whole game, you beat the shit out of Kentucky. It was wonderful as somebody who bet on the Cocks have to do it. But when you're talking about a game tomorrow that's at night, you know, what does the day look like? Do you rather have a night game because the atmosphere and everything kind of builds? Or is it one of those things where you're antsy all day, you rather just have a noon kick and kind of get after it with the boys right away?
Yeah, we're at noon tomorrow, so we get to get up and go. And yes,
learn to follow the program. Dude.
I knew that for sure.
Yeah,
but our set is actually right here because we're moving inside here for the last hour because of the noon game, and just like in Michigan, so we got an early kickoff.
No doubt. But to answer your question, I'd rather just get up and go. I hate sitting around all day. I mean, I love night games here. Don't get me wrong. This place will be rocking if it was an 8 a.m. kickoff tomorrow. So it'll be rocking tomorrow at noon. And as a coach, I mean, there's been so much build up about this game. There's so much excitement about this game. I'm excited to just get up and go play, and we don't have to sit around all day.
How long you been the head coach here now?
This is my 4th season.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Not easy at all in the SEC. And obviously you grow up in the Virginia Tech world because of your dad. Similar vibes about like, because Virginia Tech, not always like given the highest of praise. I think South Carolina, similar thing, right?
Yeah.
Feel right at home here?
No, in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, certainly. I was here as an assistant coach with Steve Spurrier. Love my time here as an assistant. Two of my wife and I's 3 children were born here in Columbia. I was born down the road in Charleston, so very much this is home, but certainly there's not a lot of people when you talk about the blue bloods, if you will, of the SEC that talk about South Carolina. And in my mind, we have everything that we need here to be successful and win championships. We've shown that in other sports and have the resources that we need. And we've won a lot of big games around here and plan on winning a lot more here going forward.
Dawn Staley, celebrity guest picker tomorrow. Cannot wait to pick her brain on how to be great. Obviously, she's player, her highlights that were coming out.
Yeah.
Do you remember? She was absolute beast on the basketball court.
No, I don't want to make her sound old because she's a few years older than me, but she was playing at UVA when I was at Virginia Tech, and remember to seeing her highlights. I'm a little bit younger, but seeing her highlights growing up, and now to be a colleague of hers here at Carolina. She was a baller back in the day and still is now for sure.
She got a promo yesterday about being pumped about being the guest picker. I love to hear that. Anybody that's excited to do the job, we're pumped about. Ty has a question for you, Coach.
Yeah, Coach. Pat just mentioned your dad, and obviously when it comes to sports, a lot of times when you have generational kids whose parents have played, in a professional league, it's always like, hey, how is this person going to live up to the expectations that their parent set for them playing? With someone like your dad, who is one of the greatest coaches of all time, how much do you still lean on him for advice? And also, how difficult is it, knowing what he did and how successful he was? Like, do you ever kind of measure yourself in the moment, like, oh, well, my dad was doing this at this time, or I should be doing this because my dad did it this way? How does that process kind of play out?
No, great question. I was very fortunate to grow up as his son, obviously still be his son, play for him in college. I coached with him. So I've been so much of what I'm about as a coach is what I took from my dad, philosophy-wise and things like that. And if you spend a lot of time around our program, you'd probably feel more of a Virginia Tech vibe around our program than any of the other places that I've been. And I've worked for some awesome coaches and been very blessed to work for Hall of Famers, and most recently Lincoln Riley, and then Kirby Smart before him, and Steve Spurrier, and on and on and on. So I've taken from all those guys. For me, it's not comparing to him. We obviously he's here all the time. He'll be here today. He'll be here tomorrow, obviously, for the game. So I lean on him when I need to, without a doubt. But also, I think the biggest thing with him is just learning. Really, I saw at a young age, and it's helped me now, just understanding what a thin line it is between winning and losing. You know, for all my dad accomplished at Virginia Tech, it took till his 7th season for him to even go to a bowl game. And his 5th season, they had a losing record. 6th season, they had a losing record. And then I think their 7th season, they really hit it and took off. So just understanding that, man, there's a thin line between winning and losing, and always appreciate winning.
Your dad didn't recruit me, so I can't wait to see him.
Yeah, we need to have a talk about that. Biggest mistake ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ever.
Okay, so is there times where you're like, man, I sound exactly like my dad?
Yeah, totally.
I'm doing that right now with like my daughter.
Yeah.
And I'll say something or think something, and I'm like, man, am I Tim McAfee right now? I assume for you, coaching, there's a lot of that.
All the time, particularly on the field, or things that I'll say. One of our assistant coaches, our defensive backs, Coach Torian Gray, played at Virginia Tech, was a great defensive back for my dad in the mid-'90s. And I'll say things in staff meetings that I can just kind of look up at T. Gray, and he looks back at me, and he knows exactly where he had heard that before. But I also catch him doing it as well. I hear him say things to the DBs that I know that my dad used to say when he was coaching.
Hey, you're pretty fiery on the sideline. I enjoy watching you.
Yeah.
You're entertaining.
I try and be poised, but I'm an emotional guy. And I think more than anything, I just love watching our players compete. And that's what gets me going, is just watching our guys. I love the players we have in our program, and just watching them have success and get to compete on Saturdays is what fires me up.
Yeah, but the team appreciates it. The team appreciates it too. It's like, this guy's actually invested in, you look young. You said you're old as shit, but you look young. Tone Diggs has a question for you, Coach.
Yeah, Coach, you go from a fifth-year senior last year and Spencer Rattler at quarterback who was unbelievable for you guys, and obviously he leaves. He plays really well for the Saints in the preseason, and now you have a young quarterback in Lenore Sellers who is more of a dual threat for him. How is that going from Rattler, who was just so polished and so good throwing the football, to a young quarterback who some say has to develop in the passing game and is an incredible athlete?
Yeah, it's been good. Lenoris is very poised. He's not your typical redshirt freshman. He's a very mature young man. He redshirted last year, and he was able to play in a couple games. But more importantly, he was able to sit in that quarterback room all year with Spencer, and we traveled him to every away game last year, and he dressed for every game. So he hasn't necessarily played as a starter, obviously, a lot, but he's been around this environment, and he's not a guy that lets the moment get to him. He's very, like I said, poised, confident. He's been fantastic. He's going to continue to get better, and we're really young around him. I mean, we're starting a true freshman left tackle.
That scare the shit out of you.
Yeah, he's talented, but he's young. We started 2 true freshmen last year on the offensive line, so we're used to it. And then, 3 of our top 5 receivers, they weren't even here during spring practice. So there's a lot of new faces around Lenoris. He'll continue to get better. The offense around Lenoris will continue to get better. And I'm excited about his future here at Carolina as our quarterback.
He wears the specs, right?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That is a gangster move.
Yeah.
I don't know if we NIL'd the shit out of that yet, but we win a couple games. We can probably sell goggles.
Yeah, we're missing a great opportunity in Iowa.
Oh, you beat LSU, though.
Yeah.
Then it kind of goes, we need to get a Rec Specs distributor on the phone tonight. Tomorrow we need to move those things. AJ's got one for you, Coach.
Coach, when you took the job there, did you understand how crazy and how passionate the fans are down there? Like, that's all we hear about. And I have not been lucky enough to attend a game there. I hope to someday. But, like, all I hear about is how loud it is and how unbelievable your following is.
Yeah, no, you need to. Anytime you want to come down for a game, Pat's got my number. Well, I think he does. When he got that new contract over the summer, I texted him and he never hit me back. So maybe he changed his number and didn't give it to me.
New phone, who did?
Yeah, clearly. But anytime you want to come, Pat has my number. Just let him know, and we'd love to have you. But no, I did. I was here 2007, 8, 9, and 10 with Steve Spurrier, and we had some amazing wins during that time. But I saw the passion of that fan base back then. Heck, AJ, like the first time my experience ever in this stadium was my dad's very first season coaching at Virginia Tech in 1987, and his first away game as the head coach at Virginia Tech is here at Williams-Brice Stadium. And I'm a 10-year-old kid that comes in here and sees this environment in 2001 and all that and the pageantry, and I was mesmerized then as a 10-year-old. So I saw it pretty quickly, and then got to experience, like I said, as an assistant coach here too.
So, I mean, let's not take anything away from Virginia Tech's atmosphere. Obviously,
great.
The entrance there, top of the line. I heard Darude Sandstorm here is bananas, though.
It's wild. When we come out tomorrow to 2001 Space Odyssey, it'll be just wait. And then once we come out of that tunnel down there, 2001, and then Darude Sandstorm hit right before kickoff, just wait. Yep. Yeah, Darude was here for a game last year. Did a live DJ show right up there.
What is Darude?
He's one guy.
One guy.
Darude.
He's
one
top
day.
man.
Yep.
Has dug hit from 20 years ago that is still absolutely banging. All right, what's the rest of the day look like? Do we have a set schedule?
Yeah,
routine?
I got a production meeting with which I'm 4 minutes late for with Saban and Hurd Street, so they're going to be pissed that you've kept me 4 minutes over as well.
Absolutely.
So I've got that. Then we got a team meeting, and then we'll be back over here for a walkthrough here in a little bit after some position meetings. Hotel tonight, and go to bed and wake up and get ready to roll.
Is the alarm Darude or?
No, I'm not technologically savvy enough to figure out the alarm. Just regular alarm.
Yeah, wake up for war. I got it. Last question. The SEC.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've had experience now. Kirby, you coach. You get it. But it is bananas.
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely bananas.
Yeah.
Is it the right time for your team to maybe have a run, especially with this 12-team playoff and how many teams are potentially going to go from the SEC? Do you think about that?
No, I think every team in the conference does it. Now that it's a 12-team playoff, you play in the most competitive conference in the nation. It's just it's facts. So if you're one of the 4 or 5 best teams in this league, you're going to have an opportunity most likely in the 12-team playoff. So I think every school in this league understands that. I think nowadays with the portal and you're talking about the youth movement in college football, the teams that are the older teams that are veteran teams that have been around for a while, to me, those are the teams that are going to have the most success. You look at the college basketball Final Four a couple years ago when they had like FAU, Miami, I think San Diego State and UConn. Yeah, and guys like a lot of teams like that are older guys. We've got an old team, particularly on the offensive line and on defense, and you want to be an experienced group, and we are.
Culture.
You
know, you're able to build it. Yeah. I think we're talking about this tomorrow as well. The amount of movement, I think you can say you have culture, but easy come, easy go with that.
No, it's hard. Every year is starting over. We got a strong culture here. We got, I think, 39 new players on our team this year that weren't here last year between freshmen and transfers. So every year is starting over.
Yeah, but you got to keep your culture.
Keep the culture. Keep the guys intact. Bring in new players every year, scholarship freshmen, and transfers here and there. But the Kirby said it. Keep the teams intact, and the teams that are able to keep their teams intact, to me, are the ones that are going to have the most success.
And I know we're holding you up here, but I would like to get a Beamer's perspective on a new NFL kickoff.
Different. I don't want to. I'm not dodging the question. I really haven't studied it enough. Yeah, I really haven't.
Dahn, you got big game tomorrow.
It looks weird.
I mean, I watched the Dolphins game last night, and it was all touchbacks. So I'm kind of like, what's the big?
It's going to happen again.
What's the big deal?
That's gonna be the case.
Yeah.
Because they moved it to the 30 instead of the 35. They were originally going to move it to the 35, which I think would have affected some things. They go from 25 to 30. Yeah, I don't think enough people care.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because of stats and everything.
Exactly.
We take special teams serious around.
We do. Real serious. We spend a ton of time on it.
I appreciate
it. Thanks, man.
Good luck.
Yep. Thank you. Yep.
Anything?
Good luck at noon, Coach. Good luck at noon, Coach.
Thanks, fellas.
He knew that the whole time.
Yeah, good luck at noon.
He knew it the whole time.
Appreciate you, Coach. Connor, don't embarrass the program. This is like whenever you talk to what's-his-face at the Phoenix Open.
Yeah, basically the same. And he had the on and on with him, too. I mean, yeah, look, I suck at this shit. You know, it just kind of is what it is. And I knew as soon as I framed the question with, you guys are at night, so that was just the wrong move. I should have said, do you rather play at night or at noon? Because I didn't know. But instead, I do what I do. And I act like I know when I don't know, and that's what happens. Yeah, I mean that's what's going to happen when you're firing from the hip, if you will.
Yeah, Coach seems pretty calm, doesn't he, Pat? Coach seems pretty cool, calm, and collected before.
Thank you.
You know, the day of a noon kickoff tomorrow, a quick one. Oh yeah.
They want a picture right now.
Oh yeah, go do it. Go take a picture.
Yeah, get one with the bean.
Get in there.
Not get a picture.
You want him get him behind the podium so you have the sign and everything.
Very nice to meet you.
Oh, nice. Here we go.
Not the coach. Oh,
Nice to
okay.
meet you.
Here we go. Look at that. All right.
Is that cut?
This is great.
Go South Carolina.
Win in Columbia.
All right, thank you guys.
Good luck. Good luck tomorrow now.
Hey,
Good luck
take care,
tomorrow.
brother.
That sideline paint.
Hey, get a selfie.
Don't mess up that sideline paint. Or no, you're in the middle of the field. My bad. You're not on the sideline. Where are you?
No, I am on the side. Fresh paint right here.
Oh,
Yeah.
for a
There's
second
actually
I
a sign that says fresh paint. And, I wore these bad boys today.
Ooh.
I don't know if you see them.
Oh, yeah.
Those are nice.
Yeah, these are fake Jordans. But,
What do you got, Amazon?
well, I'm not going to give away
Somewhere.
anybody. Okay? I'm not. No,
Somewhere.
I had these. I got these like 5 years ago.
Were they from
and
Canada?
didn't know-
Oh,
well,
come on,
I did buy them at a store. I think I might have got bamboozled.
By way of
Bingo.
China?
They were so comfortable. These are the most comfortable ones. And also, I thought it was going to be very rainy. So I was coming in to do the mudding. Instead, I'm on some live paint here on the side of this Cox field. And I'll tell you what, it is bright colors. Red is a very, very bright paint. So I'm trying not to mess things up, but it is going to be an electrifying 24 hours here. And they got people all over the stadium. You know, like some places, like you got Spurrier over here, like a whole thing. Career leading in coaching wins. Steve Spurrier from 2005, 2015, obviously after the Florida departure, 86 wins over there. 86 wins here is they got Alshon Jeffrey stats over here. Sidney Rice
Lou Holtz.
stats over here.
Debo?
Parker White, Steve Tannehill, Todd Ellis, Marcus Lattimore. Remember Lattimore?
Oh, yeah.
He's Marcus Lattimore. Career lead. Can I give Lattimore a shout out? You guys are
That's
just
on me.
saying
That's on me.
names. No, he wasn't. He's Debo. Where's Debo? I assume he's on another fucking thing over here. But they got they have all their like success stories very much. Like I like the way they're doing it. I'm a big Jadeveon Clowney right up here in the Ring of Honor. I assume Alshon Jeffrey up here in the Ring. Sterling Sharp up here. I don't know if these are retired numbers or if these are Ring of Honor. George Rogers' name all over the place around here, by the way. Steve Wadiak, 37. Mike Johnson, 56. Marcus Lattimore, career leader in rushing touchdowns, 38 of them over here. Todd Ellis, who could spin the ball. You remember Todd Ellis back in 1986?
Man.
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorites.
Career leader, total passing yards, 9,953. In 1986, they were spinning it like that. I didn't even know you could do that in 1986 with a football. I thought they were still playing rugby back then. Turns out, Todd Ellis came here and said, I want to throw to everybody. I want to throw to absolutely everywhere. Eric Norwood, you remember him?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Of course.
Do you really, AJ?
I'm not sure. No, I know Norwood. I don't know if it's Eric Norwood.
Norwood's the kicker from Buffalo you're probably thinking of.
That's probably who I'm thinking
Scott. Eric Norwood, 2006 to 2009, which is about in our era.
Yeah.
Career leader in tackles for loss at 54.5. Career leader for quarterback sacks, 29 of them. These stats are all just like very public. I've never seen a stadium like this. It's like an analytic stadium while honoring their greats. It's a really cool place. It is a very, very, very cool place down here.
Yeah, I actually watched. I don't know what year it was. Ohio State got beat by South Carolina when Lou Holtz was the head coach of South Carolina, like 2001 or 2000. I don't know, way back in the day, but I do remember how good South Carolina was and how their fans traveled to that bowl game.
Is Coach Lou in the stadium? Because I don't think he's on, or in the studio, because I don't think he's on this stadium. I don't think he's.
For him.
Well, unfortunately, I think he had kind of a bad run of luck towards his end of my tenure there. Lost a lot of games. My son, I think, coached there as well. I believe Skip ended up being the head coach at some point. But what are you going to do? You endorse a certain somebody, and then they try to whitewash you off everything you've ever done. That's typically how it goes.
What? I don't remember. I don't know exactly what you're talking about.
I think
Coach.
you do, AJ. I think
You think his name was up here? His name was up here until recently, is what you're saying, Coach? Is that what?
I think so, and then I'm guessing, I had to go shooting my mouth off like I do sometimes at a speaking engagement, and they got the paint rollers up there, and they went right over my name.
I don't know if that's the case, Coach.
I think it is.
Well, that's how I
maybe.
choose to remember it, AJ. Okay.
That's your truth,
Hey, I don't
Coach.
have to remember anything at this point. That's good news. That is very good news. This is I thought it was gonna be so hot down here. Legitimately thought it was gonna be so hot in here. Packed like 4 different shirts for today. Put the button down on.
Looks good.
Nice.
Felt like I could be pretty professional down here. It should be wonderful. The food, I think, is going to be really good.
Oh, spectacular. Get some gator.
I don't know if there's gator here in South Carolina. I genuinely do not know if that was a real question or not. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Oh, yeah.
Real question.
that?
I thought they do eat gator in South Carolina. I'm not sure, though.
So, how far north do gators go? Because I thought, Florida, Everglades, down there, they're kind of roaming around eating dogs. And
In Ohio?
And now, I don't think there's any alligators in Ohio, but are there gators here in South Carolina?
Yeah.
Yes.
Gotta be.
Definitely gators in South Carolina. I just don't know if they eat them like they would.
Are there
in Florida.
gators in this state? Are there gators in this state? Alligators?
I had gator in New Orleans back in the day.
Oh, yeah, gator bites.
Yeah.
Like wild alligators in this state? They're saying, yeah. What? How many? There's gator. Just
Wild.
where at?
Kiowa Island, there's a bunch.
In the old country,
What's that?
low country.
Low country.
In the low country, gators are American alligator. Thank you for that, officer of the law, being incredibly kind and hospitable. Was in the middle of a conversation with somebody else. I yelled at him to interrupt. He answered, "Protect and serve." I appreciate that. American alligators are found in the southeast United States, all of Florida and Louisiana, the southern parts of Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi. Coastal South and North Carolina has alligators.
Wow.
East Texas, the southeast corner of Oklahoma, and the southern tip of Arkansas. Louisiana has the largest alligator population. Alligators are dinosaurs, right? And I don't want to be around them. Like, I don't think I'd move to many parts of Florida because there's a chance you walk outside and let's say I get like crusty eyes sometimes,
Yep.
with, let's just say I'm accidentally, one eye open, haven't had a nice Americano, couple espresso shots, haven't woke up, and I just accidentally stumble in my backyard and I kick a dinosaur and that thing gator rolls and I'm dead. I don't want that to be an opportunity in my life. I don't want to live anywhere where that's possible. I didn't know these bastards were roaming around South Carolina and North Carolina. I had no idea.
Oklahoma, it said.
Yeah, how the hell they get to Oklahoma? They hop in a wagon? How did they get to Oklahoma? I have no idea. They're the dinosaurs, though, right? The alligators are the dinosaurs.
Yep, them and sharks.
It feels like it, right? I just saw a clip the other day. Who knows if it's real, but it was the oldest dinosaur or the oldest alligator, and they said he was 100 years old. How do we date the dinosaur or the gators?
Count
Scales.
the rings.
Count the, just like a tree.
That's a tree. That's a tree. I don't think those are alligators. I don't think that is. But I think it is maybe on the palm. On the palm of the
Is it?
gators.
They can't-
Palm reader.
Just got to flip him over, and he passes out when you flip him over, right? And then you just count the little lines.
Steve Irwin told me that, and then you figure out if it's a male or a female alligator if you just go in there and Steve Irwin told me. I'm just telling you what he said. It might have been crocodiles. I don't know if they're similar to the alligators other than just a skinnier nose and being slower. Seems like the alligators get the lazy conversation more so than the crocodiles getting that entire thing. But that seemed to be their Achilles heel. If you can get them on their back, fucking out.
They're out.
1, 2, 3. So I guess if you go into your backyard and you stumble into one of these things, if you can somehow get underneath the front, just like with those the steers out there, you can just kind of flip them right onto their back, and then you're in a good spot.
Throw a towel on their eyes too. They don't like that.
If you paint them.
Well, and if you jump from the back,
Yeah.
you got to jump from. Remember, you got to come from back here. You got to do the.
Yeah, boom, right
one of
there.
those.
Yep.
Yeah, and then you could grab them by the tail too, like they're a snake. I've seen it all.
It's really
I've
pretty
seen it all.
simple, to be honest.
Yeah, to be clear, I think I can snatch a snake by its head too. I see that on the internet all the time.
Yep.
Seems like even basic ass snake wranglers are able to do that, so no longer scared of the snakes. But these gators, I feel like if you don't time up that snatch, boy, they're gonna snatch you. And they got such better leverage than you too.
Oh, yeah.
Because the way they kind of operate, and then that tail in the water with their little fucking eyes.
Oh, yeah.
They scare me. Those ones scare me a little.
Would you
bit.
run?
Gators,
Would you zigzag if one was chasing you? That was the old what they told you as a kid. You got to run zigzag because they can't go side to side that well.
Well, yeah, and a grizzly bear can't turn left. So
That's right.
I mean, there's a
believe
lot of
that
these
one.
things, huh?
I don't know if I believe that grizzly bear turning left situation.
Can't run downhill.
Yeah, if it's a brown bear, get down there. If it's a black bear, you fight back there. And if it's a grizzly bear, you turn left. Everybody knows that. These are just matter of facts whenever you're dealing with bears. The gators, I don't. It feels like they zigzag to begin with,
and they're so low to the ground too. They should be much quicker than us.
Yeah, I do recall where there was a sniper on the loose in the United States of America, more specifically in Washington D.C., and everybody was on alert. And that was when I was a kid. And they told me that anytime I was in public, even in my street in front of my house, you never know where the sniper's going to be. You got to walk like this. You got to walk like this. Remember that, Tone? Remember when they were telling us to walk like this?
Oh yeah, it was very scary at the time. But watching everyone walk in zigzags all over the place was kind of hilarious.
Kind of a nice little treat.
Yeah.
Kind of a nice little comical treat, because then you start judging the zigzag walking of people, and then you obviously point out to your friend that any sniper worth their salt is going to be able to shoot you with how bad your zigzag motion is. I don't know. I don't know
People
how far we got. Yeah,
like they were afraid to stand at the gas pump and pump their gas. Like that's how.
Wait, you said he was in D.C. though, not Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah, Pittsburgh's 3 hours from D.C.
You never know. What
Yeah, we were being told, look out.
Driving.
Oh, this guy could be driving
being told to
anywhere,
look out.
picking you guys off, walking down the hill in your own neighborhood.
They weren't going to get me though.
Yeah, what were you doing? What were you doing?
You know what I mean? I was full on.
Sometimes backpedal every once in a while. Do a forward roll every once in a while, too. The guy has no chance.
We were like the O lineman in the locker room when they play the passing game where you're only allowed to walk and not run.
I would love to see you walk up a hill doing that, and you're back in plumb. Can you imagine?
Not going to get me. Yeah, but you got to watch it, because every once in a while when you're do-si-doing that good, you want to kind of feel yourself, especially with what I just did there. You saw me just walk that off because I like the little back pedal two-step I did. Yeah. But as soon as I'm going straight, guess what? Right?
Yeah.
Or you stand still. He's waiting for you to stand still, and that's when he's taking you.
No, walking in a straight line they're looking for. Yeah. That's why these basic-ass kids were walking the standard. They were like, go 7 feet this way, then 7 feet this. Well, you're coming back to 3.5 feet. At some point.
Yep.
That's not what you need to do. We need a spider 2-wide banana. You know what I mean? That's what we need out there. But I'm happy I survived that. And that's a little tip for the kids out there. If you got an alligator chasing you, make sure your zigzags aren't basic-ass boring zigzags, because these dinosaurs will figure it out quick and snatch you. And that's what we don't need, especially here in South Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, that's hopefully not the case. But we have Nick Saban coming on, right? Pat, with you, hopefully around shortly after the 1 o'clock hour. I don't know. He's in a production meeting right now, correct?
Yeah, it's starting to drizzle a little bit down here in South Carolina. It's prime gator weather. Let's make sure they love that rain, don't they? Because we kind of lose our footing a little bit. Their claws get in.
Yep.
And so we got to watch for these Cocks and for these gators around here, especially if things get a little heightened. But yeah, Coach Saban will be here. I'm excited to talk to him about Tua.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. I wonder if he's communicated with him.
I'd assume he has. I'm not 100% sure, but just like his take, because that's a football guy. He knows family and Tua much better than probably anybody.
Everybody.
Anybody that's going to be talking into a microphone. It's like, I'm excited to hear his from, obviously cares about him, but then also understands football and family and everything like that. What does he think is the next move for Tua? And what would he say to Tua, or has said to Tua about it all? Because I think I saw the entire internet say, Tua, you got to slide. You got to slide. You got to slide. You got to slide. Can't even put yourself in that situation. That looked like a pretty standard,
Yeah.
Like,
it's football.
When
man.
I saw it, when I saw he was out, I was very surprised. I think we all were rather surprised by it. I didn't expect I think they're calling it fencing. We're learning about it a lot more.
Yeah.
But like, I appreciate the fact that Tua lowered his shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, I think everybody is going to appreciate that. I think his teammates obviously will. But it did feel like, hey, come on. You're different. You know what I mean? Your story's different. Your game has to be different. Everything like that. And it's like, some people aren't able to change that, the way they play. I've talked about this with Andrew Luck, where every play was supposed to be a touchdown, or every play was supposed to be like executed perfectly. And it was like telling him like, hey, you can give up on some plays, or you can do this or do that. He felt like he was disrespecting football. Like that's literally how he felt about it. And Andrew Luck is one of the greatest football players I've ever seen in my entire life. One of the greatest dudes I've ever met in my entire life. One of the most successful people I've ever met in my entire life. One of the most smart individuals that has ever existed, I believe. And trying to get him to change the way he played football was like, almost impossible. It's like for Tua, can you just tell him, hey, you need to stay out of these positions. You need to slide. I don't know how easy that is. I don't, especially in that moment. Like, he wanted a first down. It's Thursday Night Football at home. You're getting cooked right now. Last week, he was giving a speech at halftime, right? Remember, that was kind of a storyline of last night that Kirk was breaking down, is at halftime last week when the Dolphins were getting their asses beat in the first week against Jacksonville, Tua spoke up at halftime and, like, demanded some accountability, and everybody's like, whoa, this is maybe a brand new Tua. So then here we are, prime time, just a few days later, big moment, team losing. You're running for the first down. Like, Tua, I think in his head is probably like, I'm going to set the tone for my entire team moment. Like, this is a big moment. And then ultimately, unlucky situation happens for him, more specifically, bang. And then it's all a different conversation now. Like, it's a wild thing. Football is a wild thing, AJ, literally. Play to play, everything can change.
And who knows, like, everybody's like anatomy and their body and their brain are so different too. Like, we don't know anything. I feel like doctors don't know anything about the brain when it comes to like the brain injuries. Yeah, Will Smith. Yeah,
tell the truth.
He definitely knows. But like, are some people much more prone to these kind of concussions than others? Like, how are we born a certain way? Like, how does this work?
Yeah, and AJ, I think you'd be a good person to ask because of the sledgehammer of a head you have. Right? I think that's a good, accurate description, boys.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Thick,
Looking at it here,
thick, big head.
Thick skull.
Yeah. Thick-skulled, massive-headed.
Caveman.
Used it as a weapon.
Yep.
Barbaric caveman. Yeah.
Rick.
Sure.
All those things of a head that you have. It's a good-looking head. You heard Shaq. You heard everybody talk about it. But, like, I wonder if your skull is just thicker. Like, is your skull thicker than others so it's able to protect the brain better? And is that the next step for football players? Because I assume there's technology to be able to test for, like, hey, you're more prone or more likely to get this. We think you should be using the helmet that has the Guardian cap already built into it. I saw some people bringing it up with Tua. Why didn't he have the Guardian cap on? Well, we heard that there's already a helmet that's already built as if there is a Guardian cap. Then there's position-specific helmets that we've heard that Tua already has. Like, there's just so much to it, man. There's so much to it. That's why everybody's saying he needs to retire. It's like, okay, are you telling him that? Who's
he needs to?
He was healthy all last year too. Like, that's not even a thought in his head while he's doing that, because last year he didn't miss a game at all.
The issue is, though, because I have had like 4 or 5 concussions. The issue is, like, once you, yeah, and some people say, you don't want Tua to be like me, which I agree. But once you do get 1, 2, 3,
we're proud of you,
4.
Come on, Tone.
I gotta be careful how I lay my head down on the pillow at night, because I could get another one. Like, once you
is that how you feel? Do you really feel like,
no? I feel fine. Like, but
if you got elbowed in the head, do you feel like you'd be more prone now than before?
I think that's actually one of the things that they do know is once you get 1, 2, 3, it does become easier to get the 4th and 5th and so on.
Well, Pat, did you watch last night? They showed some of Tua's old head trauma situations. Those were scary to watch. I hadn't seen those in a while because a lot of them were the back of his head hitting the ground. And I coach little kids football all the time. Like, that scares me to death when the back of their head hits any kind of hard turf or hard grass. I know those feel terrible when it happens, but those are the scary ones.
Yeah, because you got whiplash happening at the same time. So it's like even more momentum, even more speed, and there's normally no give. I will say this field is.
It looks perfect.
It does.
Luscious.
So looks beautiful.
Luscious. But if I do recall, 2022, the first 2, was that the first one he was whipped right onto the back of his head? And then was the next one a Thursday night football game? Was it 4 days later?
Yeah, when he got slammed was the Thursday against the Bengals. The first one was when he fell backwards against the Bills.
Where he got, like, pushed kind of after the
play. Were those 4 days apart? I don't remember.
Yeah, it was.
It was like quick, bang, and it was on like prime time, I think, if I do recall.
Yeah, they said it was his back. Remember, they were like, it was his back, not his head.
Then he had the one on Christmas Day against the Packers as well.
Jeez.
Man, so it's always on prime time, seemingly, and the whole world cares about Tua. I think that's why it's so loud afterwards. I'm excited to hear what Coach Saban says.
Yeah, Coach Saban will be joining us here around about 1:05, and then shortly after that, 20 to 25 minutes later, we will have Dana White. Pat, obviously you're down in South Carolina, killing it. Thomas Morstead will be with us in the 2 o'clock hour. Take 3. We'll see you in a little bit.
Hi, how's it going? My name is Pat McAfee. Used to hold balls for Adam Vinatieri. Now I'm in his home state. College game day is absolutely electric. And Brookings, let's go!
College game day has made the voyage to Brookings, South Dakota to experience a game with the best fans in college football. I unfortunately cannot attend because I have a game this Sunday, so I sent a man I trust to make my picks. A man who was my holder for almost a decade. Please be nice to him. Welcome this week's celebrity guest picker, Pat McAfee.
Go big, go blue, go Jacks.
Hosting Auburn. Yes, everybody saw this. The best fake punt in the world. What do you think, Pat?
I absolutely loved it all the way up until execution time. That is not what we like to show in the brand headquarters and punting and kicking world.
Oh, dance off. Oh, let's get weird. Yes. Duck that, huh?
Bang! Right off the top of the dome. That makes it a lot easier when you got a dummy standing right in front of you like that.
Running. He's Hayduke! Daniel Russo!
Wax on! Wax off! Knee to the face!
Yes! Serious.
Go! Yes!
These teams stink. With that 15, they celebrate by doing shotguns. And I know they figured it out. I'm going with the University of Virginia Cavaliers. That was great. Whoa! I will never, ever in the history of my life bet against that ball. Oklahoma State is the winner here. Not so fast again.
But I'm going Trey.
Please excuse my dumb friend Kirk. Look at this crowd. They've been out here since 4 a.m. College game day comes to town. They lose their mind. The population of this state is about 800,000. And when the Jackrabbits take the field, they're alongside all 800,000 South Dakotans. The Dakota marker was in Fargo for far too long. Today, 5 o'clock local time, the Dakota marker is back in beautiful Brookings, South Dakota. Terry School. They might be the Jackrabbits, but they're the GOATs today. Ladies and gentlemen, South Dakota State with the win.
Give me that place in.
No, don't do that. No. Leave. Coach. No.
The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey,
Why?
let's go.
This show stinks. And the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You pink.
Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life.
Here we go, hour 2 of the Pat McAfee Show. Pat is in South Carolina. I'm here sitting in for him at the desk because he's down there with Game Day for a huge matchup, LSU, South Carolina. Football! It's what we do here, boys. We have an unbelievable slate of games coming up this weekend in college, in the NFL. Let's throw it down to Pat in South Carolina, though I think he has someone with him.
Boys, it is an absolute honor to once again introduce the GOAT, Nick Saban.
Hell yeah, coach. Yeah, coach.
You hear that? They love you.
Yeah, I love them too. They're good guys.
Yes.
Okay. It's big.
Yeah.
They ask good questions.
Okay.
Well,
We're doing
not today.
journalism.
You give good answers.
If it means anything, Connor asked Coach Beamer about his night game tomorrow against LSU. Obviously, we know the game here is at noon tomorrow. So good questions.
Oh, for
most
one.
days.
Big bounce back game right now.
Most days we're doing okay. Let's talk about being down here in South Carolina. It's my first time. I have no idea what to expect. I've been told it's going to be bananas. Obviously, you've played here numerous times. How do you think tomorrow looks for game day? And what are your expectations for the game tomorrow against LSU?
Well, this is a hard place to play. I mean, once way back in 2010, I think we had won 19 games in a row. We came here and played, and I mean, we got the line kicked out our butt. Boy,
Really?
It's a hard place to play. It's noisy. They always seem to play better here. So I think this is going to be a real test for LSU tomorrow.
Yeah, and I think the conversation after the USC loss for LSU was, hey, USC might be a really good team. You're not out of it completely, but Brian Kelly was, he was doing the dang it stuff, that whole thing. And my family is not in Louisiana for this. And then his head was turning the color of this paint here and the color of my face, and it looked like Cincinnati Brian Kelly had showed up at LSU. Do you think that's because he knows his team could be very good, and whenever they let games away, they're kind of blowing entire opportunities? Is that where you think he's coming from, and what do you think his message has been all week?
Well, I think any coach, including myself, sometimes you get beat, but sometimes you lose the game. And in that game, he knew that his team kind of beat themselves. They had some undisciplined penalties, dead ball, personal fouls, whatever, that really changed field position. And what people don't realize is, okay, you get the celebration penalty or whatever you want, taunting penalty, but then the guy takes the ball, you kick the half, now you have to kick the ball, the best kick returner in the country, and he takes it back 50, 60 yards. That wasn't a 15-yard penalty. It was a 50-yard penalty.
Yes.
And when you're talking about field position in football, every 100 yards is probably 6 points. So, and the same thing, they get the fourth down stop. Now they get backed up again with a penalty, guy taking his helmet off. So all those little things add up in terms of winning close games. And I think, and they had nothing to do with the game.
Yeah, waste.
All right, so I think the disappointment comes when you beat yourself. There's an old saying that you're going to suffer through one of two things in your life: the pain of discipline, which is hard to do the right thing and make good decisions and choices all the time, or the pain of disappointment, because if you don't have it, you're going to get disappointed. And I think that's probably what happened with him, and I would feel the same way if I was a coach and we let one slip away, probably not because the other team actually beat us, but we beat ourselves in certain areas.
Almost like they chose to lose by making certain decisions that they made. And you talk about discipline or disappointment. Did you have one of those cinnamon rolls that was in there?
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't disappointed at all.
Me either.
No discipline.
Probably the worst thing in the whole place for us to eat.
Absolutely.
That's okay.
No discipline at all. Jeff Sims found a local bakery here and delivered all these cinnamon rolls, and they're different flavored ones. And they look like they were all just microwaved. Like it was, and it was spread out on a table. And it's literally, as soon as I walk in, once again, I remember the clouds flying in, had a little, we're in one of those boots, and so a couple whoop-de-woos on the way in there. So I walk into this room, and I just see this spread, and I'm like, the hell is this? And I normally don't eat until after the show. I housed it. It's so good.
It was good.
No discipline, though, and no disappointment. So that's one case.
Right.
Shout out to those cinnamon rolls. AJ has a question for you, Coach.
Coach, LSU coming in, obviously a tough road game for them. When you were coaching, what can it do for your team when you actually go and you win a game in somebody's house when it's a crazy atmosphere? How much can you take from that moving forward?
Well, I always thought that when we won a game on the road, and actually I like playing on the road in some ways because there was less distractions for your players. And that's what you really like as a coach when you know your guys are really zeroed in. Because first of all, they know they got not only the challenge of the other team, but the challenge of the circumstance that they're going to play in, whether it's noise, how people are going to respond to every play in the game. So when your team can stay focused on the right things that matter in the game in tough circumstances, I think it's always feels like it was a greater victory because of the adversity that you had to overcome. So I think it does a lot for the confidence of the team. But I also think that as we're seeing these teams kind of go this way this year, up and down, relief syndrome after winning a big game, I think there's really too much emphasis on the playoffs, what's coming up at the end, rather than just focusing on being the best player you can be day in, day out, week in, week out.
We're going to talk about some of those teams tomorrow on Game Day that have kind of had a rocky start to start this season. Listening to him in these Game Day meetings, boys, is awesome. Just like somebody will chirp in and be like, Coach, what would you say to the team? And then bang, we get a speech that is like written out of a movie, legitimately, like right there, which is why I think it's been so amazing to be around you this season, but also Game Day is very lucky to have you. And you talk about seasons like this because guys are too focused on what the end game is and maybe some instant relief and gratification. Whenever you think about that end game, and I'm going to make you do something, we heard you chat in one of these Game Day meetings about like night games on the road in the SEC. If you lose that game, should be judged differently than some other games. There's some places that are just immediately harder than other places. And is that everywhere in the SEC? That's what it feels like whenever I come and get baptized in the Southeastern Conference football.
I think it's everywhere. I think the passion for football in the Southeastern Conference is greater than any place else. I was in the Big Ten for lots of years. I was in the NFL for lots of years. But the passion here is different because there were no pro sports in the South until like 1970. The Dolphins and the Atlanta Falcons started then. So everybody grew up being a college sports fan. Everybody grew up relating to LSU or Alabama or Ole Miss or whoever. And I think that's why you have a deep-rooted passion for these college teams, because people grew up with college sports, not professional sports. Like when I was a coach at Michigan State, there were 7 different teams that you could root for in a 65-mile radius. All right, so it's different. And so I don't think there's any place that you play that's easy to play in the SEC. And there are legitimate stats. I don't know what they are. Somebody told me this. It'd be interesting for somebody to do a project on it, is how poorly defenses play in night games on the road in the SEC.
There has to be a stat or analytic that we can look into that. Hembo at the ESPN Stats crew will probably be able to find it. But those are things in the conversation that we're going to have on Game Day later. And people from the Big Ten are going to be so happy with everything you say. Just want to let you know that. Let's go to the Big Ten. Ty Schmidt has a question for you.
Yeah, Coach, I don't think this really applies to the game you guys are at. And obviously with your philosophy, when you were preparing, every game is uber important and you're not really overlooking anyone. But a lot of times, especially this week, when you look at the slate as a whole, there's a couple teams who are playing non-conference opponents before they get into the real teeth of their conference schedule. Is the idea of like a trap game, is that a real thing, or is that something that kind of gets fabricated and blown out of proportion by the media and fans?
No, I think there are things as a trap game, but what the trap is your own psychological disposition toward how you approach the game.
Of course.
That's the trap. It's the trap in your own head, that you're not focused on the right stuff in preparation for the game as well as when you go play the game. I mean, I think all of us that played any sport anytime, or anybody out there that played any sport anytime, knows sometimes when you think you're better than the other guy, you go up and you think you can just show up and win. And then when things don't go well, you get frustrated. So now you're even emotionally playing out of your mind. And it doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
So that's why constant, consistent message is such a big deal as a head coach. Like for some of these teams that are currently kind of going through it, and we've all been a part of teams. I'm sure there are some Alabama teams that have kind of settled.
Oh, yeah.
But what is the messaging to the coaches if you had to talk to them? And I assume everybody that coaches in college ball has coached for you at some point. So you probably talk to every human on earth.
Yeah, well, I think consistency and performance is what defines success. Start with that.
Okay.
Consistency and performance. All right, so therefore, nobody can be satisfied or relieved or think that they have arrived. And when you have a big win, sometimes you get a little of that.
What if you're playing like ass? These teams that are just like playing like ass. And I don't want to go directly to them, but we're big fans of Oregon. Aren't we? Hey, boys,
love
Oregon.
Love Dan Lanning.
Yeah.
We love Dan Lanning. He's young. He's a head coach. Their team was predicted to go on a run. And then Boise State, I think, is going to be a very good team. I think that is a conversation of what it is. But first 2 weeks, not doing that great. Then Herbstreit comes on the show, and he's like, I think my take on him is last year it felt like they had a little bit more of an edge than they currently do. Lanning feels like a great ball coach. Is there a chance that their team is who they are, or do you think they continue to get better?
I think they'll continue to get better, but I do think they have some issues on their team. You know, their offensive line is not that great, and that's a problem. It's a problem for the quarterback, who is a really good player, and they have really good skill guys, but they've made enough good plays in games to be a dominant team. They just have too many bad plays. And I'm talking about tackle for loss, penalty, get behind the sticks on offense. Now you're playing not the way you want to play, but the way the other team wants you to play. And I think that's been their issue, and they hadn't been able to play the kind of defense I think you need to play. Now, Boise can run the ball, and they got a really, really good back.
Yeah.
And they had trouble stopping the run, and when you can't stop the run, that's demoralizing. It's demoralizing to your team because you're always behind in the sticks. It's 2nd and 4. It's 3rd and 1. They get a first down, and then it happens all over. So that really is an issue in controlling the tempo of the game when you play a team that you cannot stop the run effectively, and that's what happened to them in the Boise game.
They're going to figure that out, Oregon. We got faith.
Yeah.
We got faith in Dan Lanning. Tone has a question for you in a cowboy hat.
Coach, I don't think you've ever had to make this decision while coaching for your job, but I know there's been many, many times in your career, especially at Bama, when people were questioning who the quarterback was going to be, whether it was going to be a young stud or someone that was more stable in the program. So this week, Florida, DJ Lagway, the 5-star freshman who is supremely talented, and Graham Mertz, who's played really good for Billy Napier last year, he's deciding, I guess, who wants to start. Bigger picture, like when you're a coach, how do you determine whether you want to go with that 5-star stud freshman or maybe the vet who won't turn the ball over, who will get you into the right situations? How hard is it to make that decision for Napier and just overall as a coach?
Well, I think you got to make the decision on technical execution. I mean, we don't see these guys practice every day, so we don't know how they're doing in practice. We don't know what their inconsistencies are. We don't really know how well they know the offense. Can they manage the whole offense? Do the players that are playing around them have confidence in them? You know, all those things are factors in terms of, you know, your team buying into a certain player. So Billy Napier has to make that decision. Like, you know, when we played Tua and took Jalen Hurts out after he was 26-2 as a starter, we kind of knew that was happening. Okay, it just didn't happen in the moment. You know, Tua was gaining the confidence of the team. The skill guys liked him because he could throw it. So, and the situation came up in the game where we could put him in there.
The game.
But when you play two quarterbacks, which I hear Florida's going to try to play two quarterbacks, you better clearly define going into the game how you're going to play these guys. It can't be based on how they're playing in the game, because then you're going to kill somebody's morale, either the guy you took out or the guy you put in. All right, so, but if you say you're going to play the first two series, then the next guys are going to play the next two series, and everybody knows what to expect, then you're not going to have any kind of a psychological meltdown with somebody just because they made a bad play. Or I get to play more now because I made a good play. You know exactly what's going to happen. So I think that's really, really important when you're going to try to play two quarterbacks. And to be honest with you, because I haven't been at practice and I've only seen Florida play one game, and I haven't really seen the freshmen play, I'm not sure what stage of development they're in and who gives them the best chance to win.
Their future is certainly interesting down there in Florida, and I know Napier can certainly feel it. I mean, he has to. With that, you brought up a name there that's obviously topic of discussion today, Tua Tagovailoa. You know his family better than anybody that's going to speak into a microphone today about this situation. You know Tua better than anybody that's going to speak about this situation today. Last night, obviously, we were all incredibly bummed to see another concussion happen in primetime for Tua. If you were, I don't know if you have talked to him or if you were going to talk to Tua today, what would you say to him? And how do you feel about the speculation of his future that's being done by everybody right now? Because we've seen him go through some brain trauma so many times on primetime.
Right. Well, first of all, I will talk to him today. I haven't been able to get a hold of him yet. I have a house down there in Florida, so we get together on occasion when I am there, played golf in the off season. And Tua is such a great competitor, but I think this has to be a medical decision. I mean, you have to let medical people who understand the circumstances around these injuries, these concussions, and when you have multiple concussions, that's not a good sign. And I think Tua and his family and everyone else should listen to all the medical evidence to make sure that you're not compromising your future health-wise by continuing to play football. But I think that's a medical decision. I don't think that's something for me to speculate on, and I know a lot of people are doing it, and more power to them. But I think the family should not be influenced by that. Tua should not be influenced by that. It should be all based on, medical professionals.
Can you tell us a little bit more about Tua? He doesn't do a lot of media. He's done a little bit here in the past, like few months or so, I think, than he's ever done in the past. Like, they talk about him having to change the way he plays. And like, hey, you should slide, especially with everything that's happened. I think he trained jiu-jitsu. They put him in a new helmet. Last year, he was completely healthy. None of these problems. Last night, team was down, rushing for a first down, goes to lower shoulder, which I think was like setting tone for team, because they said in week one, he gave a speech, which was kind of, I don't want to say out of character, but out of the norm for him to kind of do what he did at halftime. Is there a chance that, let's say he does come back and play, that he will be able to like change who he is as a player? That's been tough, I think, in the past.
Well, I can only tell you what kind of player he is. He's a great competitor. All right, first of all, he's a great person, and this is a great family. I remember when we went in the house to recruit him, and there were 8 seats around the table and 2 at the head of the table. And I usually try to sit in the middle and not at the head of the table so I can talk to the whole family when I'm recruiting. So nobody sits down, and I'm at the middle, and the dad looks at me, Nalu, who's to his dad, says, "You can't sit there." And I said, "Why?" He said, "If you sit there, that means one of my boys have to sit at the head of the table, and they haven't done anything to deserve to sit there yet. So you have to go over there and sit." So that's the kind of family, that's the kind of tradition. You ask Tua how he's doing, he's always going to say, "I'm doing great. Thanks for asking." I mean, these are the kind of people you're talking about. But this guy is a great competitor, and one thing that he does not know how to do is give up on a play. I mean, even when he hurt his hip at Alabama, there was nowhere to go for the ball. Nowhere. Ruggs was the receiver. He fell down. All right, so there's no even buddy to throw it to, and he's still trying to make a play and takes a hit that he doesn't need to take. And I hate it that he got hurt, and I wish I would have taken him out of the game. Hindsight's always 20/20. And it's the same thing with the play last night. He could have slid. He had a first down, but he's a competitive, tough-minded guy that's trying to set the tone for his team and ends up getting injured because of it.
Yeah, and I got to play with Andrew Luck, and Andrew was the same way. Like, hey, give up on a play, and he's like one of the smartest humans on earth. Good guy, loves foot. Like, he felt like he was disrespecting football if he was to do that. Right. It feels like Tua has the same exact kind of vibe. We hope he's okay. He walked off, which is good news. Which is good news. You think that team loves him, though, huh? You said whenever he was playing and Jalen was starting, he had won over the boys because he could throw and how he was acting in the locker room. It feels like they love him, and he's the perfect guy. Everybody that talks about him, that's a teammate of him, loves him. I think that's why it's even more of a story today, because we're all kind of pumped up.
And I think that's true, and I think that starts with the kind of person he is, the kind of compassion he has for other people, the way he treats everybody else. I don't know. I've never seen Tua ever disrespect anyone. I've never. And all the time he was at Alabama, all the time I've spent with him since then. And I think that's the culture, to some degree, but that's his parents too. And he's just a great person.
Ooses are great folks, good people all the time, hard workers, tough too. That's why I'm excited to kind of see how this all kind of goes moving forward for Tua. Connor has a question for you, Coach.
Yeah, Coach, looking at the teams that haven't had the most competitive games, per se, at the top of the college football ranking, Ohio State, Ole Miss now, even Bama, those games have been blowouts. Granted, Bama, 3 quarters last week was kind of a worry. How much are they learning about their team now? Are they kind of waiting till they have a real challenge to know everything in particular about their team, or is this something where because they are blowing out some of these lower tier teams, they know, like, okay, we are very good at, A, B, and C?
Well, I think that, maybe to some degree, not necessarily the way you look at it from a coaching standpoint, but when you play teams like that early, you almost look at them like NFL exhibition games. You're learning about your team, but you only learn so much about your team until they play somebody as good as they are. You never. It's like Mike Tyson or one of these guys said, you never know how you're going to react until you get hit in the mouth.
Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
That's it. Yep. You got it.
Yeah.
All right. So that's something that you can't learn about your team until you get put into a difficult situation where they have to respond to what happens. And I think if you're going to win big games in tough circumstances against good teams, you have to be able to do that. That resiliency is a necessary factor for your team psychologically to be able to overcome adversity, which is what makes great victories great victories. So, and I don't think you learn about that when you're winning games 56-0. So, but I do think you constantly learn about your team. You constantly learn about players, and players develop and players change, especially when so many young players are playing now. There's more and more young players playing now. I remember when I was at Ohio State, Woody Hayes made a statement. He wasn't the coach, but he had made a statement, back a few years earlier. For every sophomore we start, we're going to lose 1 game. Now you got these guys 17, 18 years old playing all the time, everywhere. All right, so how many of them actually have the maturity to stay focused on the right stuff when the right stuff's needed? and they don't get distracted by other things. So these are all things that you learn about old players, young players, right tackle, left tackle, and sometimes there's a reason for what happens, just like Alabama. I'm not making excuses for them, but they don't have either tackle playing in the game last week, both starting tackles. And they got exposed, and they moved their best guard to left tackle. He played okay, but the right tackle had a hard time, and I think they get those guys back this week. Maybe they learn something else about their team.
Congrats on Nick Saban field down there.
Hell yeah.
I appreciate that. But, I hope, and I hope that everybody understands that's got to be representative of everybody who made that program great for 17 years. All the players, all the coaches, the administration who had the foresight and set the table for us to do the things we needed to do to have a good program for players. That's the only way that happens.
We call this show The Program. You know why we do that?
Because that's what I call it.
Yeah. You just dropped two of them in there. Got me real excited. But I didn't want to interrupt because you were saying something really cool. So I didn't want to kind of dance on that. There's a couple good memes coming out of you down at that game, too. Hands crossed, head shake, holding, coming all the way back. You are fucking killing the internet. You need to know that, Coach. And we are very pumped for this stage of your life because we get to benefit from it. AJ has a question for you, Coach.
Coach, throughout your time there, obviously the field is named after you because of all the success that you have had there, but how were you able to evolve as a coach? It'd be real easy, I think, to sit back and say, this is what I've done. I'm a champion. I've won before. We're going to do things the way that I want to do it. But you've always seemed to evolve and go find, always searching what the next thing might be. Is that tough to do? Because I think some coaches, can get stuck in what they're doing and they're just going to stick with it.
Well, I never stopped learning. Probably two things that was helpful to me as a coach is I never stopped learning. I always kept trying to search for what's a better way. Even when offenses changed and everybody went no huddle and you had RPOs, and I said, well, we got to change the way we play offense because we're not taking advantage of the rules. So it was always an evolution for me. And then God blessed me with never having relief syndrome. I never once felt satisfied, even when we won a national championship. By 1 o'clock in the morning, I was worrying about next year's team.
Jeez.
All right. So now that wasn't any fun.
Yeah.
Because you never enjoyed what you accomplished. But it certainly helped us stay more consistent in terms of being a good team.
Okay, so let's hit on that a little bit because AJ and I talk about this. And Mac Brown told us about this whenever he was at Texas. He said he would win, it was a relief. He would lose, it was devastating. There was really no happiness seemingly ever. This happens to a lot of you football people. You guys just say, my happiness comes in kicking somebody's ass? Is that what the view is?
Well, but I'm saying you have success.
No.
Sounds like yes.
You have success.
Sounds like yes.
Where's there has to be a happy time somewhere? There has to be a happy time.
I'm happy for, 24 hours. I had a 24-hour rule the whole time I was coaching.
Okay.
And I learned that from George Perlis at Michigan State. And he came from the Pittsburgh Steelers who just won 4 Super Bowls or whatever. You enjoy a win for 24 hours. You enjoy a loss. You suffer a loss for 24 hours. Then you got to go focus on the next team. So even when we had a successful season and won a championship, within 24 hours, I was focused on who's going out for the draft, who are we going to recruit, how are we going to replace this guy so we could have a better team next year. But that's a blessing because most people want to take the next 3 months and go to the Bermuda, or someplace on vacation as a reward for having
want to
successful.
celebrate all their hard work. These bums. We're going to beat them next year. That's what we're going to do. Coach, you're a legend, man. It's been an honor to hang around you. I feel like we're all getting smarter. Boys, you feel that way?
Every conversation.
Yes.
And you guys haven't even got a chance to be around it. Wait till the boys all come and you get a chance. You got a chance to experience it a little bit in Dublin. Just wait. We are such massive fans of yours. Have been for a long time. You're an absolute legend. We appreciate the hell out of you, man.
I appreciate it. I love talking to you guys because you guys ask football questions. The typical interviews, the typical shows that you do, people, I hate to say it, it's dumb questions sometimes.
Oh, no.
You guys never ask dumb questions, and I really appreciate it.
Journalistic standards high everywhere, obviously. We appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, the GOAT, Coach Saban.
Yeah.
Thank you, Coach.
That's right, Con, man. You don't ask any dumb questions, Con.
I was about to say, we need to ask him what made him choose the baby blue blazer because it looks fantastic.
Is that from the Aflac commercial, you think?
It might be.
Ian Prime are still doing those, right? There's still new Aflac commercials coming out.
They were in the boat the other day fishing.
Oh, here we go.
Coach, they're wondering why the incredible impeccably colored sport coat today. You look great. I told you that as we're going live. The boys echoed the same sentiment.
Baby blue.
Well, Miss Terry's responsible for the wardrobe, and she picks out what I wear. So, and they make me wear this for some of the stuff I do, for game day today.
You look awesome.
Yeah, I don't want you to think I dressed up for you.
Thank you, Coach. All right, Coach. All right, Coach. We appreciate you. See you, man. Appreciate you. All right. Don't get too comfortable. He said, hey, listen, what do you say? The syndrome? Relief syndrome.
Yeah. Relief syndrome.
No relief syndrome here, Coach. Working every day. Earn your trust every single day.
He's the best.
No relief syndrome here.
He said,
I had no fun for 20 years.
He
was not happy one time.
Too. He said 24-hour rule, but then he said by 1 a.m. So I'm like, you had like 5 hours, probably.
Yeah, in theory, it makes sense what he was saying. In theory, he's like, 24 hours, I'm going to do this. But in actuality, it probably wasn't it was the speech afterwards in the locker room. That was probably it.
He's probably calling recruits. I bet he was calling and texting recruits because that is a prime, target-rich environment to call some recruits.
Yeah.
So, absolutely. Hey, I don't know if you saw what just happened there and what we're doing here. Yeah, rings, bowl, trophies, you name it. Good gators rolling around in the back here, pushing. Nice. That's a good lift. Hey, that thing's got the Booger McFarland mobile
that was
on
someone's
thing.
leg. Yeah.
Oh, right down the side there.
Careful. Get out of the way.
Speaking of national championship, that happened. But also, I bet you there's a moment after he gives a speech where he looks around. Yeah, this is awesome. Look at us. All right. Somebody's going to try to fucking knock us off tomorrow. That is literally, that is it probably for him. And put that on repeat forever. Feels like all the people that are at the very top of all the professions have that. And I would like to say that I think you should enjoy stuff. I think you should enjoy stuff because that's what you work hard for. But if you enjoy it too much, you're never going to work or enjoy anything else ever again. So there's like a happy balance. He seemingly has the balance swayed one particular way pretty heavily.
Yeah, and I hope now he can enjoy it, though. Now he's done coaching. He's on game day. Like you said, he's awesome. Everything on the internet seems positive for him. I hope now he can be like, you know what? At least internally say, yeah, this is pretty cool what I was able to do as a football coach.
Yeah.
I guess he got to enjoy it every time he was recruiting somebody, like when he was into his house and he sat at the head of the table like he's Roman Reigns. I assume he got a chance to explain everything that they've accomplished, in those recruiting meetings, in pitches. And I assume there's assistant coaches rattling things off. Did you know that Alabama has produced this many NFL players? Do you know $1 billion in contracts was negotiated just in the last year? So Nick has probably heard all of that so much that he's jaded to it now as well, So that's why I think we all hoped that last week, whenever he went down there for the Nick Saban field ceremony, that he would be able to okay, yeah, the stadium looks different now than when I got here. This fan base is a little bit different than whenever I got here. The program is a little bit different than when I got here. And there's been a lot of great coaches, obviously, in Alabama's history. A lot of very famous ones, legendary ones. And them in the field after him, I think, hopefully he got a chance to enjoy it. But he's been awesome. These game day meetings, bro, he's cutting promos and doing speeches. It feels like he's back in the locker room. I'm like, oh, this is what it would have been like to play for this guy. I think it's kind of how we all feel.
Doesn't it seem like I know, I think I've said it before. I knew when they asked, is Saban going to be good on game day or good on TV? I was like, if he wants to be, he's going to be awesome. And you can tell he wants to be good because he's Nick Saban. He's an elite performer. So he prepares and he's he just wants to be there. He's fun to watch, man. I think he's only going to get more and more comfortable and feel better. He's going to be dancing while you're sitting there slouching someday.
Slouching, I did slouch a little bit on this. In the middle of it, I caught myself. I said, Patty, posture a little bit, huh? You're here with Coach Saban?
Tough chair.
You're with Coach Saban. But it's hard whenever he's talking. Good chair, tough chair, good stern chair.
Tough to sit comfortably in a chair like that. I think we've all sat in one of those.
Yeah, but that particular chair is good for TV. If you see TV chairs, they're all ass because they're basically forcing you to do posture, which is how you're supposed to look and present yourself as an adult on television. But whenever coach starts talking, every once in a while I just kind of get hypnotized almost in a football goodness. And I'm like, yeah, that's how I should feel too. And then if I disagree with something he says, I go, oh no. I guess I'm wrong. I guess I'm wrong in this entire thing. I appreciate his Tua answer though, Con Man. The way he talked about it being, this is going to be a medical decision, which I think goes back to what Tone said earlier, too. If he gets cleared, right, if the doctors are clearing him, is Tua supposed to say, no, I'm not cleared to the doctors? How does that whole thing kind of go, Con Man?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you just go back also to kind of what Tone said. He is a football player. And I understand, the medical part of it is a massive part. But if they do clear him, which it feels as though they will, then it doesn't seem as if there's any chance that he won't be playing football again. Now, who knows how long that'll be? I remember after that second one, granted, much different situation because it was 2 concussions in 4 days. After that second concussion, he was done for the rest of the year. And I think he might have got cleared later on in the season, maybe like one of the last couple weeks because they were playing the Jets for a playoff game, and then they won, and then Skylar Thompson ended up starting at Buffalo during the wild card game. But it does seem like, if he gets cleared, he'll play again. And then if he doesn't, then that's a huge worry because what kind of conversation are we having about the helmets then? Because
the doctors
or the doctors, because like he was, we mentioned this, especially with the people up in the stands. And granted, he had the fencing situation, but Dalton Kincaid got kneed in the back of the head,
right in front of the head,
front of the head, very hard, and it seemed like he was kind of down for a second before getting back up. And there wasn't even a thought, whether it was in the broadcast or on the sideline, like, hey, let's just maybe take a look at this guy. But it was after the play, a D lineman, boom,
incidental,
comes in.
right incidental. This one right here. Right, that's right to almost the temple. That had to be. Kirk mentioned it, but he popped right back up after this.
He got helped up. It was a little slow. It was a.
He definitely.
That's nasty.
Got his bell wrong.
Yeah, certainly startling there for Kincaid, who wasn't expecting it. But the whole. Thank you so much.
Look at that. Good switch there.
Did you see that?
Cold water.
Cold water just got
nice. It's like on
Pit Crew.
It looks so good.
Dude, you should have seen. They took the chairs. Did you see them take the chairs out and then the mic and then the what? I mean, it's a full.
It's KY's pit crew out there.
Daggum NASCAR pit crew.
Well, it does feel like it's a NASCAR pit stop. It really.
Carolinas know how to do it.
Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, is a man who has been so self-made they'll write stories about and tell tales about that people will hopefully get to follow in his footsteps for generations to come. An American dream story. Hates hearing all of those things every time we say it, but the bastard needs to realize he done good. President of the UFC, which is hosting his Noche this weekend at the Sphere in Las Vegas, a love letter to Mexican combat sports with a headline of Sugar Sean. Ladies and gentlemen, Dana White.
Yeah,
Good morning, boys. How are you?
I'm in South Carolina. It's not as hot as you would think, but it is certainly, a little thick down here. How are you doing, brother?
I'm good. It's, what's crazy here is there's big fires in California and all the smoke's blowing over into Vegas. So that's been happening here for like 3 days. Been pretty crazy.
The AQI, is that what it's called? The Air Quality Index.
Yep.
We got hit with that in Indianapolis. We're coughing it up. And I'm a guy who smokes a pretty good amount of stuff. And the AQI was kind of battling all of our lungs. Hope you guys are okay over there. Let's talk about tomorrow night happening over there at that Las Vegas Sphere. We had a chance to chat with you at, I think one of the very beginning, of the entire Noche celebration at the Sphere. You immediately went to U2 and you came on our show. And you said, sitting in that Sphere, I just thought to myself, I could put on the greatest live event in the history of combat sports here. Now there's a fluctuating number between 40 to 60 million being floated out there of how much money you've invested in this show tomorrow that is going to be one of a kind in a one-time only type celebration for you. How do you feel now that we're, one day out from it? All the hard work's paying off, and what should we expect tomorrow?
Yeah, 20 million. If it was 40 to 60 million, I'd be jumping off the Sphere. It's 20 million. It's been great. Last night was our first. I was in there last night at 2:00 in the morning, and last night was our first full rehearsal run through. And guys, I'm telling you, it's going to be incredible. I'm really happy with where we're at. The show has already been a huge success. The gate's going to come in between 22.5 and 23 million, and we did the most pre-buys of all time for any UFC event for Noche already. So I am ready to roll.
This guy's a promoter. This guy is a promoter.
Yeah,
before the show even starts, nobody has a clue what the hell it is. We've already got the money back for the entire thing, and obviously the fighters are going to show up. But if you can remind us, and I know you've had to talk about it all week, so I appreciate you joining us here on this Friday for your 30th interview about it. We got movies happening, telling stories about the beginnings and history of Mexican fighting pretty much on Mexican Independence Day, which shout out to you. I think educating a lot of people on when Mexican Independence Day. Cinco de Mayo, I think everybody was thinking to themselves. But tomorrow's movie, fight, whole evening of basically entertainment and storytelling.
Yeah, so this is the first time that the entertainment and sports truly come together. And, you know, when you get in there, when the main card starts, that begins my love letter to Mexico, their contribution to combat sports, their history of combat in Mexico. When you think about the Mexican people, you know, their culture, we'll talk about their culture, who they are as a people, where they came from. So the first fight of the night begins at the beginning of time. The main event will end in the future of Mexico. And there's this, it's a movie, and there are chapters to the movie. And it will end in these worlds, we call them. And each fight will happen in a different world throughout the show.
Okay, so 10 p.m. Eastern start. And this is going to be okay, so how long of a program we're running here, you think, if you were to guesstimate?
It's a regular pay-per-view. It starts at 10 o'clock on the East Coast, and will end at 1.
Okay, so great. I'm going to go no sleep into NFL Sunday. I appreciate you, Dana. Thanks, Dana. Can't wait. Sounds like it's going to be a must-watch situation. Go ahead,
well,
AJ.
for you people at home, the hardest part of this thing, there's a director. His name's Glenn Weiss, and he's done all the big shows, all the big award shows. What he's going to be trying to do on Saturday night is give you people at home, or if you're watching in a bar or wherever, the feeling of being in the Sphere. So there's going to be an in-house live event like every Saturday, an event that we beam around the world, and then Glenn Weiss will have to shoot this thing he'll be shooting both and trying to give you that Sphere experience at home. So that's what we're trying to pull off on Saturday night, amongst a million other things.
So my wife and I are already prepared. We got a fan with a mister, set up next to the TV.
Smart.
So we'll get the full Sphere experience. We rented one of those vibrating beds. You put a fucking quarter in, the thing starts going. So we're going to be in there with you. Yeah, okay, watch it, Dana. AJ's got a question for you.
Dana, I'm one of those people that already I pre-bought this thing. You guys are doing something where you're showing it on ESPN in some kind of crazy high res, I think, that hasn't happened before, correct?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, this show, the filming of this show and the movie that will happen in there is when you think of when I went to U2 and I looked at this thing and I realized, U2 was first. So these guys had to go in and figure this thing out to ever do an event there. I said, we will come in and use the full capabilities of the Sphere. This place is as far as technology goes, I believe that this is a game-breaking event because a game-changing event because you will see other arenas now starting to incorporate entertainment in sports, whether they build new arenas or they're refurbishing the old ones. When you go to a basketball game, they got the mascot dunking at halftime off a trampoline and stuff like that. There's so much more that you could possibly do when they build these new arenas.
Boomer for the Indiana Pacers. I think he is like 1,000 out of his last 1,000 whoop-de-woos off of the trampoline dunk at halftime. Excited to see if anybody can do the Sphere stuff. Sugar Sean O'Malley in the main event. How easy of a decision was that for this particular evening? And how awesome is it that you have another bona fide star, superstar that's younger?
Yeah, it's incredible. No, all these guys that are on this card, every fight on this card means something in that division, and are people that we're looking to be somebody in the future. And when you talk about the main event, you got Merab versus Sean, the champion versus the number one contender in the bantamweight division. You couldn't make a better fight, and that's the fight everybody's been waiting for to see Merab and Sean. So it was a no-brainer for the main event.
Sugar's going to come out dressed like the most. That is going to be. Are the fighters utilizing the Sphere? I assume. Has there been any kind of conversation between fighters and UFC about how to utilize Sphere for entrance? Because I know entrances are a big deal for the UFC, as they should be, by the way.
The only fighter that's even seen what's going on inside the Sphere has been Sean O'Malley and Valentina. They both came and wanted to see it. And Sean hasn't seen it live. He just saw the room that I built here. I actually built the Sphere inside UFC headquarters. And so what's that?
Of course you did. Yeah, of course.
How big?
It's just a regular room like this, but we built it like a sphere and laid the whole thing out. Instead of using whiteboard and things like that, I actually like to build the physical structures like this room that we're in all the time. This is the war room. And all the top 15 fighters in the world are here. We have the fight from September 14th this Saturday all the way to February 8th laid out. This is how I operate. This is the way I like to do it.
Okay, let's get back before we talk about like what fights are already scheduled that you would like to announce on this beautiful Friday or not. Let's get back to the sphere. So you just got LED boards all around. You walk into a sphere room. Is that what you're referring to there?
No, we only have here at headquarters.
Yeah, the thing you built.
No.
What do you mean you built?
We have a TV in there that shows the whole inside of the sphere with the octagon in it. And then all the walls have everything that will happen on Saturday night are on the walls in there. So I've walked some media through it. I walked our board of directors through it. They wanted to know where the $20 million went. And then people like that.
Ari walks over there. Shapiro walks through there. $20 million bucks.
Yeah. Ari came by with the board of directors and Shapiro.
Everybody's pumped, I assume, with what you're about to pull off. Obviously,
I'm not kidding you. Ari called me this morning and said I haven't been this excited in a long time. Yeah, everybody over here is fired up, man. We know what we're going to deliver. We know what's going to happen tomorrow night, so everybody's really excited about it.
Probably when he got to walk into that one office with the Nerf gun, that was probably the last time he had been this excited. Obviously, talking about Ari Gold from Entourage. Ty has a question for you, Dana.
Yeah, Dana, I know you don't give a shit about this, and really all you care about is, hey, we want to deliver the best possible product to the fans and everyone who's there. But have you mentally prepared yourself for the fact that, like, there's a chance you win either an Oscar or an Emmy for what is going to happen in the Sphere on Saturday?
And a Grammy.
Way to go.
Grammy, too. Yeah, throw that in. Tony.
No, Tony, trust me. I thought about the Tonys. I tried to figure out a Tony, too. But, all the music is original. Very talented people involved in this. And, So her name is Jermaine Franco. I actually have her name right here, Jermaine Franco. She's a music producer and composer. And, she's been nominated for a ton of stuff. She did the music for the Sphere on Saturday.
Oh, no, you just said you looked into the Tony. So you're legitimately qualified now because of everything that runs here, because you'll have a soundtrack for this. So that's a Grammy potentially, right? Soundtrack. Yep. And then it's a live event. So that's an Emmy, or what is that? Like
it's a live sporting event. That's an Emmy. And then we're filming a doc on the making of the Sphere. And that you can win an Oscar.
Boom.
You're going to get an EGOT in one day. Let's go. Shouldn't it be a Tony as well? There's music. There should be. Well, feels like it should.
If there was
be
a Tony, we'd have to be on Broadway for a Tony.
Is that how it works?
You're off Broadway. You're off Broadway by a few thousand miles. That's all. That's not that big of a deal.
I thought about it and tried to think, could we pull off that? No. We got enough shit to do on Saturday without trying to go to Broadway.
Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Dana, obviously you love setting the bar, and this is another thing that's just going to set the bar even higher. And you've said, like, hey, we're doing this once, we're not doing it again. You know, it's been obviously a long journey to get here. Have you thought about, kind of what you want to do after this, or is this kind of one of those things where, like, hey, I want to enjoy this, and then I want to just go back to the regular shit because of how much you've had to put in just to get this Sphere going?
Well, think about this. The way that this played out, Tom Brady hit me up and asked me if I wanted to go to U2, or I wouldn't even have gone to the Sphere. So I said yes. We went to U2. I'm sitting in there for like 45 minutes, and I'm, sort of taking this in. And Jim Dolan tours me around the place while U2's playing. And I went back up to my seat and I said, I'm doing this. I'm going to come in here and pull off the first sporting event ever. And everything just sort of aligned for that to happen. That was not in the plans this year for this to happen. It came up. So, no, I have no plans after Saturday, but who the hell knows? I'm going to tell you this. Monday, we're going to start planning what we do next year, for Mexican Independence Day. Where will it be? Will it be in Mexico? Will we do it in Texas, Arizona? I don't know. But, right here, right now, this is the one. Plus, the only reason this happened was Brady, and I got into a huge beef with MGM. And I'm contracted with MGM. And, I was so pissed off, I told them, release me from my contract for one fight to do the Sphere. And I'm going head to head with them tomorrow night. So, I would say it's a one and done, but anything is possible.
Thank you for being you, man.
Yeah.
It helps out a lot of us. It helps out a lot of us, Let me out. Going ahead. I got into a beef. I appreciate it. I don't know if you followed our story.
The MGM's been sticking it to me for years. For years.
We don't like for years.
Finally,
we were done with
it. And here we are.
Do you ever do stadiums? Have you ever done a stadium? Like WrestleMania, obviously. Go ahead.
We've done a few stadiums, but I don't like to take the in-house experience away from the fans. And stadiums are just too big for fighting, I think.
Gotcha. I can understand that. And because you go from no people in the what's it called there? The Apex. Still using during COVID. We started it. Started an island in there. Feels like you've been able to have fights everywhere, but all of them feels like at the place. It is a awesome vibe. I've been to a few of your UFC events. It is energy throughout the entirety, even if it's 5 a.m. in England. It is, You create an incredible live event, boss man. Legitimately, you should be proud of yourself. Can't wait to see what you do with the Sphere. Tone has a last question for you here.
Dana, we were just talking to Nick Saban. We were talking about how he never let himself really celebrate. It was a couple hours after a national championship, and he allowed him those hours, but then he was right back at it. 10 p.m. Pacific on tomorrow night. Will you allow yourself to kind of take it in and celebrate for a few hours before you get back into the swing of things?
So what we will do is when this thing is over, my production crew, I'm gonna let them take as much time off as they want. My production crew they go. I literally Monday will start seriously talking about and booking where we're gonna do Noche next year. Then Tuesday, I have the Contender Series on ESPN Plus. Then I jump on a plane and fly to Dublin, Ireland, where I'm pulling off a boxing match this weekend. And then the Anthony Joshua fight is Saturday in London, and then I'm coming back to Vegas, and then that leads us into what do we got next?
That's next Friday, yeah. Then you're at next Friday, then. Yeah.
We're on a treadmill here. It never ends.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Keep going, brother. We appreciate the hell out of you. Good luck this weekend. We can't wait to watch. We wish we could make it, but obviously it's in the middle of football season. Thought Mexican Independence Day was Cinco de Mayo. Turns out it's this weekend. Let's celebrate and enjoy it all with this man. Ladies and gentlemen, President and CEO of UFC, Dana White. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, Dana.
Man.
I think it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, it says on this sheet too, this is the first 1080p TV broadcast of a UFC event in ESPN history. So it's gonna look sweet for us at home as well, right?
He sold that place out and made the money back just off the gate, let alone all the other sponsorships and everything else he's going to do. So it's going to be a very profitable event for him too, which is great news. And it's a shame you can't get tickets, or maybe you can. If you were to get tickets, you need to go to our friends at SeatGeek, the greatest ticket buying platform on planet Earth and
the moon.
That's from South Carolina, Indiana, baby.
Hell
and
yeah.
That's,
still works.
And the reason why we say that is because if there was to be a live event on the moon, Dana White would probably be putting it on, okay, if we had to guess. And also, we'd buy our tickets through SeatGeek to get there. SeatGeek is the greatest. There's a bunch of stats they sent over to us this morning about the highest ticket priced games this weekend, hardest games to get to. This from Ticket Stooge and SeatGeek. Bengals at Chiefs, number one, obviously. This is a massive game. Steelers at Broncos, prices are high. Bears at Texans, Caleb, CJ Stroud. That's crazy down there in Houston. They got high hopes. And then Colts and Packers round out the top four there. Ty, are you worried that these Packers fans are selling their tickets? That's why the prices are going so high. And Colts fans are about to infiltrate Lambeau and take over that entire damn town, Ty Schmidt, because our friends at SeatGeek?
I'd love to say that I'm not, but there was early in the season last year quite a few Lions fans that showed up to Lambeau, and in years past that would never happen. Now we'll see. I don't know. I don't know if people are I don't know if people are still holding on to their tickets. We're going to find out when the injury report comes out today. There's a chance that Jordan Love's going to be coming out of that tunnel.
You really think
Sunday.
he might play? You really think that?
Listen, they haven't ruled him out yet. Do I, in my heart of hearts, think he's going to play on Sunday? Absolutely not. But there's a chance. They haven't said he's not playing yet. So until that happens and we find out Malik Willis is starting for the Packers, I think fans are going to hold on to their tickets as long as they can to kind of, stave off a lot of blue in the stands at Lambeau. We'll see, though.
I might go to the game and go to SeatGeek, use code PMS30. I believe you get $30 off your tickets. Some things apply, like if the tickets cost less than $30. Ty, it sounds like you're worried about Malik Willis? Because I saw a tweet you put out on X where you said, "Don't look now. Malik Willis as a Packer might shock the entire world." Wasn't that just yesterday you put that tweet out?
It was. I was kind of just speaking of the general public in terms of Packers fans. No, I have come all the way around on, hey, if Malik Willis is out there and he needs to play, he might set the league on fire this weekend. I'm saying not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 or 5 touchdowns, maybe. Or there's a chance he's going to throw 5 total passes, and the Packers are going to run the ball 60 times. Either way, I'm really looking forward to see Malik Willis spin the pill this weekend, even though he's only been a Packer for about 16 days.
Yeah, if Jordan Love plays, I think we'll all be very impressed with modern medicine and kind of wonder how everything happened at the end of the game last game. This is all gamesmanship, AJ, right? Malik is playing again.
Has to be, because why would you rule him out if you're Green Bay? And I'm sure there's a tiny chance he could play. Maybe if it was a Super Bowl, he would.
What if he does?
That'd be nuts.
That'd be pretty sweet if
Toughest guy ever.
Put a big old brace on there, strap it up, tape it up.
Malik's
get in there.
Run wild,
what
brother.
do you think? Yeah, just like
Big Ben.
like you're coming out of the tunnel.
I've seen it happen. He will throw for 500 if that happens.
Yeah, Ben Roethlisberger did it for 20 years, brother. Hey, have an incredible weekend. We'll continue on YouTube, ESPN Plus, and TikTok Live. You are the greatest. Cheers. I think I hit it.
Nailed it.
Absolutely.
From South Kakalaka.
Nailed it.
That's that Matt Garrett timer on the bottom of that. Big red with the big head.
Shout
Kinda
out.
breaking it down. Shout out. Shout out.
Is it sprinkling down there or not? We can't really tell.
No, it's a little breezy. It's sprinkled there for a little bit. I'd say like probably a 5-minute period. It seemed to have a little bit there, maybe more. I just couldn't feel it because I was so in the zone of the conversation. But yeah, it's just a little breezy. So I don't know if storm's coming or going. That's the thing about the wind. If you can feel it,
You can chase it.
And the wind is normally bringing something in or bringing something out. You know what I mean? And
Nailed it. Yes. Gonna run that back a couple times, I think.
Send that to Powell right now.
Oh, Glenn. Glenn's been at some football games this year already.
Yeah, he's a
filming.
football guy.
Yeah.
He's filming.
He's filming right now overseas, brother.
Oh.
yeah, and you know what he's filming right now? He's a football.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I think he's
a
filming.
football player.
Chad Powers.
Chad Powers.
Oh.
Yeah.
I remember that. Okay.
By way
I don't
of
like-
Eli Manning, I believe.
Yeah, I appreciate the fact that he's doing it because it's football. He's a football guy. He's like hottest actor on earth. Don't love that he's doing a movie that's going to have a helmet on his face, though. That's Glenn Powell's face. We need that thing
Maybe
out
it'll be
there.
no face mask. Take the face mask off so you can see Glenn's face.
Oh, leather helmet because Chad Powers is tougher than everybody. Takes it back old school so that we could see Glenn Powell's face because that is my biggest concern. In the photo we saw from the set, he's carrying his helmet. I assume there's going to be a lot of that, Ty.
Yeah.
I assume there's going to be a lot of carrying of the helmet so we see face.
I would
We see
agree.
fate.
I also agree with your point because I think they are basically going right down the Chad Powers playbook like Eli did, and they're putting him in like hideous makeup, like making his nose big and doing all this kind of stuff. There it is, right there.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
we need
Look how good looking that guy is with
comedy?
what?
It's a comedy?
Yeah, comedy?
No, I think it's a serious.
Well, I don't know. For guys like you who have
a
no
horror
sense of
film,
humor, I
AJ.
don't know if it matters.
I do not. I'm unaware of it. I do not
Fucking
understand
asshole.
what is happening with this Glenn Powell new
Do you
movie.
remember the Chad Powers thing where Eli went to
Yes,
Penn
of course.
State?
So they're making a movie.
They're
after
making
that.
a TV show about it,
I don't
pal.
believe it. I'll believe it when I see it.
What's your
You
problem?
just saw it. You
I
literally
saw
just
a
saw it.
screenshot.
You
but
can't feel
Why'd
it.
they go overseas? Where overseas?
He's overseas for a
He can't
different
feel it.
movie right now.
oh, okay.
You can't chase it.
He
and you
can't feel it. He
You're
can't
right.
feel it.
You're
Can't
right.
feel it.
And you can't.
And you
chase
won't
it.
ever chase it.
First off, I watched him hide in that pool. He saved a lot of people's lives in that movie in Twisters.
Well,
that
actually,
thing was
that
a
was
cat
Kate, that was
nine.
Kate's idea, actually.
Yeah.
So have a little respect.
Oh, was it her
Yeah,
idea?
wake up. Classic Ohio.
I don't even know the character's names. from
Credit
that
to the
movie.
man, I guess. Huh?
I really liked his little sidekick, though, his YouTube buddy.
Boomer.
Boom.
Yeah.
Whatever his
Yeah,
name
Boom.
was. That guy's
Have
kind
no respect.
No,
I
names.
don't
I
respect
mean, this
characters.
guy.
On, man.
I watched the whole movie. I like it, man. It was good.
This is disgusting. This is disgusting what you're doing right here. Twisters is going to win all those awards that Dana's trying to award. How about Dana? How about Dana saying, I tried to get a Tony. Yeah, they told me I got to be on Broadway to do that. I thought about picking up the Sphere, moving it to Broadway for one night, actually. I tried to get like one of those helicopters that picked up Rick Ross's house and moved it down. I was trying to do the same exact thing. The Sphere turns out not possible, a little bit more pricey. But how about him trying to win all those awards? He might do it. That dude might do it tomorrow night.
Just because he wants to do it, too. Just because he knows it's going to be a cool show and nobody else would do it. That's the best part, I think.
I appreciate the fact that he thinks, and I just assume everybody thinks this way, but I mean, I was in the Sphere for 4 minutes. I was like, we should we should do a show here. I wonder how much money it costs to do a show here. Now, does our show warrant the Sphere? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
We could, though. We could.
But we'll weigh the options of how expensive it is. Was going to do a Super Bowl show down there, if you do recall.
Yeah.
That is what I was kind of looking into doing down there. And everybody told me that'd be a complete waste of money. It's like, I've wasted money a lot. What do we? Yeah, it'd be cool, though. We're doing the fucking Sphere. And then we go and watch U2, and it's like, yeah, should do a show here. It'd be cool no matter what the price is. And then you think, well, how would we utilize the Sphere any different than anybody else? Is like, well, we don't really have the show for it. Dana has the show for it. And then him making a movie, he's got people scoring this entire thing. Think about what Sugar Sean's going to do with that entrance. Sugar Sean's, and they said it's in the future of Mexico. Think about all the shit that's going to be. I mean, that's going to be a pretty cool sight. I will not be awake for the Sugar Sean fight. I will have to see it on Sunday morning when I wake up. But that is going to be a crazy evening tomorrow night. I legitimately believe it. And what if he wins all those awards?
It'd be pretty sweet. I want to know the haptic feedback. So, like, when somebody lands a big shot, is your headrest going to vibrate?
Yeah.
The whole seat going to vibrate? A guy gets knocked out, it just continues to vibrate.
But don't you want people standing for those?
Yeah.
Like, I think we've talked to him. I think we've talked to him before.
Don't you usually go up and down when it comes to fights? Like, oh, here's a big moment. People start to stand up. I don't know. I guess I haven't been to a fight in a long time.
Me neither. I think you would. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. But I think what he told us, because I might have asked him that in this planning process, and I do feel like we're pretty early in the entire, like, hey, I'm going to do a fight in there with Dana, one of our conversations with him a long time ago. So he's been kind of eyeing it. But I think I brought that up, and I think he had an answer for it. Like, during the movies, you'll sit down and you'll feel it. And then the fights, if you stand, you still feel like the air and everything. But the seats are just in the suites too, because they're standing room at the bottom too, right?
Yeah.
But they got all the seats above too. I wonder if they tell you, like, because
when to stand.
Yeah, like when to stand, or if not to. Like, hey, stay seated, obviously lose your fucking mind, but like stay seated. Because in the regular UFC fights, of course, the crowd is so awesome behind, everyone going nuts. And I bet that's a little different with this, because it's like, hey, it's going to be very cool because of what's on the Sphere behind them while they're shooting the fight, right? Like, I'm not sure. I can't wait for it, honestly. I'm very pumped to see what it's about.
As people that have been to the Sphere,
no big deal.
Okay, I've seen Hamilton. I've also seen Hamilton.
It's pretty cool.
We
Thank
left
you.
early.
Not from Hamilton.
Not from Hamilton. Hamilton, we stick around the entire time, and when the king comes out, you obviously stay. Ty, can you describe, not you two, obviously, but like the seats move, there's like air that comes through, obviously. Ty, can you explain for people that haven't been there maybe better than what we have told them thus far today, what it's like and why sitting and standing matters?
Yeah, it's almost like a full body, like spatial experience. Like, and I'm sure, I think it was a little bit different for us because I think the suites are a tiny bit different than like the people who were down in like the lower bowl. But yeah, it's like, everything they basically, I think it's supposed to be that like everything that you're seeing is somehow connected to your seat too. So because it's supposed to be like a full body experience that like it kind of does something with all of your senses. Like it almost, it was weird because when they really did use like the full Sphere, and U2 didn't do it for the whole show, but like there were points where they really made use of the Sphere. Like it honestly does transport you to like a different planet. Like you forget where
it's like a ride. It's like one of those rides.
It is.
Like I think there's an Avatar ride like that where they raise you up.
Universal.
And I did that with my kids last winter. One time we went.
Yes.
I couldn't, like, I was getting scared like I was going to fall off the ledge, but there was no real ledge. Like
How about when they're going through the logs? How about when they're going through the logs over there on Pandora?
Yeah, you're right. I'm dodging and yeah, I do. I wish I was going to see these fights actually. Now that we talk about it.
You should.
I thought we were going to be able to go because once again, Cinco de Mayo.
Sure.
I've been celebrating for a long time for the Mexican people. Thought that was the Independence Day. Turns out it's this weekend. So I learned that through this entire process, which is good news. But I thought we were going to be able to go. I think we actually told Dana, yeah, we'll bring a show out there for sure.
Yeah.
I think, didn't we say that?
I believe so.
Definitely.
Yeah, and we're not there. Obviously, I'm in South Carolina, here in Indiana, so we are not in Vegas battling with the AQI out there. Hope that doesn't affect the fighters.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's conditioning, cardio. The air quality index, whenever it's poor, is not good. And I was kind of making a joke there, but not really. I feel like my lungs are pretty good. There's some moments there of the AQI with the haze that was just kind of hanging around everybody's house and everybody's life there for a while because the fires that were coming down from Canada. It got a little there was a little bit of that.
If there's one thing Vegas has figured out, though, is air quality inside their buildings.
Well, that is actually what they said. So I haven't seen a video from today, but Las Vegas locally yesterday, like it was so bad that they were telling people like, and granted, you take it with a grain of salt, but they were like, hey, you need to stay inside the casinos because,
pumping 100% pure oxygen.
And more specifically, the slots area.
Yeah, the casino floor. But no, like if you actually see the video of the haze rolling in from California, like it was bad.
How'd the fires start again? Do we know? How'd these California fires start?
Lightning.
Is it?
Dryness.
Wasn't there? What was the one fires that were up north? Then they think someone started. They left a fire going or something. And
one guy
took off the whole
One
forest.
guy went to jail or got sentenced to jail for a while because he can't remember what he did, but
flicked cigarette.
Yeah.
Who was that bear that came out and said only you can prevent forest fire?
Yeah, Smokey.
We need Smokey back. We need Smokey back spreading the alarm through every Middlesex village and farm.
Hell yeah.
Legit. We need Smokey the Bear back because that's scary stuff, man. Every time those videos come out, like obviously the humans and the houses and the property and life and memories and everything that burns away and you can never get back because of fire. Think about all those animals, dude. You ever see those? In California, like those horses sprinting down the street away from like that stuff's tough to watch. So hopefully this is the last year fires happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Universe ball.
Universe
ball.
Here we go.
Hawk, shoot. Universe ball.
Kids don't know about this.
No, it's too much pressure. That's a lot of pressure. Yeah, universe.
Hey, Pat, we have someone coming on here in a few minutes, don't we? You want to tease it for the folks?
Thomas Morstead, a man who taught me how to punt, is doing a foundation this year for every punt that he hits. I don't remember the ins and outs. I was excited for him to do it, but Thomas Morstead is entering like his, 14th year, 13th year at this point.
15th year is this year.
Wow.
Okay, just forever as a punter too, and he's always been. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, the man who taught me how to punt, a man who has taught a lot of people that are currently in the NFL how to punt, and that's because he is an old-ass man now, punting in the NFL for the New York Jets. Ladies and gentlemen, Thomas Morstead.
Yeah, Thomas.
All right. How we doing, guys?
Brother, 15th year, they just corrected me. I said, got to be 13 and 14. 15th year punting balls
16.
right now in the NFL?
16.
Tom, hey.
Congrats.
Way to go, buddy. Way to go.
Appreciate it.
And I see you in the off seasons working out and you're incredibly jocked. How's the leg feel? Legitimately. I kicked the soccer ball at the soccer tournament this past summer and tore my hip flexor. We got drafted the same year. How's your legs feel? Now you're 16 years into this thing.
Honestly, I feel great. The last 2 years have been a lot of stability for me. Been able to train how I want to train, not dealing with any injuries. So, the last 2 years, I feel like I've kind of been slowly getting better, which is pretty cool at this age.
And we're still bombing balls. Is there anything different than whenever you were younger in practice? The balls you're hitting? Are we more of a jugs machine? What are we like when we're?
I would say that my A ball is not quite as A ball as it used to be. It's not quite as big, and I would say that I'm a more consistent player than I've ever been. And I think the biggest issue for me is I still train hard. I can't train quite as frequently as I used to. So it takes having a coaching staff that understands that I need a little more rest. And I just can't train how I used to as frequently. But I'm still getting after it in the weight room, feeling strong, feeling good.
Yeah, you work too hard. Shout out to Brant Boyer, obviously absolute legend in the history of the NFL. Speaking of legend, you're going to go down as one of those. This year, you're raising money for ALS, I do believe, right? This is a big deal, and I'm very proud. I don't want to say proud of you because you do so many good things, from the hair donations to now, like you're one of the best humans that has come through the NFL. Can you talk about this year, what you're doing and why you're doing it?
Yeah, I think a lot of people know what ALS is now, and Steve Gleason. He's been a big reason why so many people know about the disease now. And I don't know, I just formed a relationship with him as a younger player. He'd come to specialist dinners with John Carney, who he was buddies with. And I just kind of watched the transformation that he's had to go through, just losing things constantly, losing the ability to walk, then at some point losing the ability to talk. And he's continued to, a lot of people throw in the towel. He's continued to keep living, and he's inspired a lot of people. They've gotten laws changed so that insurance has to cover technology so that people can still communicate and talk and be a human, be able to connect with people still. And at the core of it, I just wanted to do something to inspire him and to encourage him for all he's done. And this is just my small way of doing it. And it's cool to be in a position to do something like this for him.
No, it's not a small way, brother. You're because you're inspiring others to help as well. Like we, as a program, will match whatever you end up giving at the end of the season to be a part of this. And I love that there's other punters joining in too, right? There's other punters joining in too, I think, with you, right?
Yeah, Mr. Ryan Stonehouse, who's currently on pace to have the highest gross punting average in league history. He hit me up a few weeks ago and said, "Hey, I want to do this myself," and he's going to do that to support Tim Shaw, former Tennessee Titan, who also has ALS, and just incredible support, especially from a young guy like that. He's donating $500 per punt for the season, which is just big time for him. And it's really humbling to get support like that from people around the league. So who knows what this thing turns into? The Team Gleason's based down in New Orleans. The Super Bowl's down in New Orleans. So I'm kind of trying to manifest some good vibes for us to be able to, do a big year-end presentation down there that week of the Super Bowl. So
okay, and I'm just asshole selfish guy here, thinking about a moment that we could have down there in New Orleans. We'll do like because you'll be in the Super Bowl, so obviously in the Super Bowl won't be able to do this. But if you're not in the Super Bowl, which we do not hope that is the case, okay, we do not hope is the case. But if you're not in the Super Bowl, we'll do some punt thing down there for a last moment big donation too, where you'll probably hit some end over end balls into some buckets somewhere down there, and then for everyone you hit, we'll do that live on the show.
Pat, you're the man, dude. I love you.
Okay. Hey, you got to hit him though. I mean, what do we? You might like,
Hey, I'm that confident already, Pat. It's gonna happen. So I appreciate you.
As you should be. You're hitting the ball well, I assume. We feel you said you're hitting more consistent than ever. We've got no end in sight. What do we got? 5-10 more years?
Just one at a time, buddy. One at a time. I'm
What's the longest?
Enjoying it. What's that?
Do you know who's the longest? Do you remember?
I think games played is Jeff Fiegel's at 352. And there's probably 5 or 6 guys that have made it into their 40s as punters. You see kickers do that a little more frequently. Not very many punters. So that's kind of the next stupid little goal that I've got for myself, is to be one of those guys. So,
how many games do you have right now? Do you know?
I'm at 239. Got a long way to go to catch Fiegel.
Wow. You're gonna
I think it's like 6.5 more years, something ridiculous. So, just gonna take one at a time.
That's nothing, Thomas. You got another 10 years in that leg. His legs go up to here on me, AJ. His legs go up to here on me. Yeah, this guy, he was built to be a punter. Do you agree with that, Thomas? Do you agree with that?
I would 100% agree with that. I think God put me when he built a punter whenever he made me. So
legs up to here, brother. We're playing the same position. I'm standing next to this guy. I'm eye to eye with his hip bone. I'm like, what the hell?
That's
and then
amazing.
Punting. Yeah, punting, your legs are a big part of it. So, like, having massive levers this dude's like the picture perfect punter. And the way he hits balls, picture perfect. It's like, Thomas, you're a good dude, and you know that, but you've taught a lot of people, and you've made punting better, and especially with this donation stuff. Sorry, AJ, though, I stepped on you like 3 times.
Oh, no, you're all good. My brother-in-law, Brady Quinn, I joke with him, like, Brady's hips come up to my nipples. Like, he's all legs. He should have been a punter, I guess, but quarterbacks are at the same time. But speaking of quarterbacks, Thomas, how you like having AR over there? How's it like having Aaron, roam around the practice field and the game field? Like, what's it like having him on the roster, and what does it do for your whole team?
It's great. There's, you've been around it. He just brings just such a high level of doing his job, and at the most important position. It's just pretty cool to watch. I watched Drew Brees for so many years. It was just cool to watch him practice what he would do every day, and same thing with Aaron. They're totally different people, but both just
Is
some
he
of the
having
best
fun?
players.
Thomas, is he having fun? It looks like he's having fun. Every clip we see from practice and everything, he's still joking around, messing with people, and competing every day, huh?
Yeah, I think he's got a really good balance, I would say. He knows it's part of having fun is being at your best and performing at your best and getting the best out of other people, and it's about winning. And so, yeah, I mean, there's times where he's locked in, and that's what he's doing. But you can tell, he had a practice last week where I was like, wow, he's feeling it. He looks at least like he's 33 years old. He's super young. So he's definitely enjoying himself, and it's cool to be around somebody. It's cool to have older teammates. When you're older yourself, it's just somebody you can kind of, bounce ideas off and bitch about certain things and, get things off your chest. So it's good.
Why you guys are bitching at each other? What?
It's in the locker room. It's just good to have people you trust and you can confide in and shoot the shit with a little bit.
Hey, we're lucky that you joined our little locker room here, and the Jets are lucky that you're in their locker room. TeamGleason.org is the website. There's actually an option to match Morstead's donation. He will donate $1,000 with a minimum pledge of $10,000 this season for every punt that is dropped inside the 20-yard line. This guy's got sick control. I mean, filthy spins. This guy is going to end up donating a shit ton of money. We will match Thomas Morstead because we think this is such a beautiful thing that he's doing. And shout out to Stonehouse down there in Tennessee for doing the exact same. I assume many others will do and follow suit. We appreciate you, Thomas. Have an incredible weekend, buddy.
Pat, again, man, I love you. I really appreciate all you do, and really cool of you to match. So thank you.
No problem. No problem at all. We still I haven't dropped the football in a while. We need that thing to be flat. Okay, we need to hold on to it a little longer.
You're the most natural athlete I've ever seen kick a football. So you'll bounce right back into it. I guarantee it.
Nice.
Thank you. Yeah, I turned some things over that weren't supposed to turn over. I do appreciate that fact, but it was scary as shit every single time. You're the man, ladies and gentlemen. Thomas Morstead.
Yeah,
thank you, buddy.
I appreciate it. Man.
Kind of weird. I'm clapping in a stadium all by myself, but I want to let Thomas Morstead know he deserves the applause anytime he gets one. 16 years as a punter, man. So he talked about kickers making it into their 40s and punters not. Now, this is not me talking shit on kickers. Punter is a much more athletic and explosive position because you got to hit that thing full go every single time. And obviously the stronger you are, the better because ball is hanging in air. So the strongest are the ones that get the jobs and keep the jobs. For kicking, if you're able to put the ball through the uprights from 55 yards and in, it's good. If you have the capability of making it from 75, doesn't really matter. If you can't make it from within 55. For punting, if you have a strong leg, it helps. So normally it's like I blew my knees out because I would hyperextend my knee every time I hit the ball. So I'd be swinging so hard, my knee would boom, and then, my kneecap actually popped out, and then my knee came back, and I was just living out here for 10 weeks. That was the worst. That was no fun at all. But it's that's how you're swinging as hard as you possibly can every time. So if your legs go up to this high, I mean, you're in a good spot. And that was Thomas Morstead.
You got a long lever there to launch that thing, huh?
Oh my God. I thought I was getting drafted as a kicker. I told this story before. I was in the Senior Bowl as a kicker, all-time leading scorer at West Virginia. Didn't do the NFL-style punt at West Virginia. We did the rollout to the right.
That's wild to me that you did an NFL punt and you got drafted and you punted NFL. That's crazy. They knew. They're smart, man. They knew something. They knew what they had.
But Bill Polian got a gold jacket for a reason. But Senior Bowl, I didn't punt. I wasn't invited to the combine. So my pro day, I hit 6 punts, turned them over. But other than that, there was no real, anybody was talking to me about punting. And then Bill Polian's I think you're going to be able to figure it out. And I was like, we'll see. I went to a camp out in Wisconsin, and I was Thomas Morstead, tomorrow morning. We're having a few beers, obviously, Wyatt. Maybe 10 of them. He's a good time. He's super smart, very, very intelligent, but a good time, good teammate. People enjoy being around him, and he houses beers. Used to. I don't know if he still does, but he used to. I'm hey, I legitimately, in a moment of vulnerability, I was you need to teach me how to punt tomorrow. This needs to actually happen. We got training camp in 2 weeks. I need to figure this whole thing out. He spent 3 hours with me, him and Jamie Cole, and it was just hey, here's what you're going to at least need to do, and we ended up punting against each other in the Super Bowl. and he kicks that onside kick. He was not a kicker, really. He was just athletic enough to figure out how to kick. So he hits a kickoff. It's just, I love Thomas Morstead. I'm thankful for him. He's a good man. I think we need to make our picks. I think we should take a break before we do that, though.
Yeah, let's take a quick break, and then, we'll come back and do our picks, obviously. I think we both started out pretty good last night, didn't we, Pat?
Yeah, 1-0, no big deal. Never a dot for me. I was on the Bills the entire time.
Never a doubt. No waffling at all. But yeah, we'll take a quick break. I'm sure you're gonna go take a leak, most likely, and then we'll come back and do our picks and wrap up this great Friday the 13th. All right.
Hey, you got it. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice that might change their life, like our friends at Dude Wipes. Take 5.
5.
Gentlemen, congratulations. Thank you so much for taking the time where you're contractually obligated to, so I appreciate you guys being here.
I want to be here. I just want you to know.
Come on.
I have watched you do your thing, man. Nothing but respect and praise for you.
Will you touch this? Me too, man.
Way to go, son. Number 2 overall, baby.
Dude. Boys, you're calling a national championship again, Kai Schmidt.
Unbelievable. Should we be here?
No!
Probably not.
No way. I kicked the ball to myself on that.
Oh, yeah.
Right there, I kicked the ball to myself.
That's right.
Should have told CJ that.
Maybe the most athletic thing I've ever done in my entire being. Well, CJ, happy to see you.
Completely ruined.
Everybody's happy to see you.
the lot. I picked him.
Everybody's really
I picked
happy
him
to
to
see
win. I'm
you,
all right.
CJ. Congratulations on winning the AFC South as a rookie quarterback.
It's a big deal. First time ever with a rookie. You okay?
That's a big deal, CJ. Dude, you're absurd, bro.
Thank you.
For how young you are?
Playing in Indianapolis, that was probably the loudest stadium I played in NFL.
Wow.
That was like a college atmosphere. How about that?
Pete, you got 2 knees, 2 ankles?
2 knees, 2 ankles, and some big boy pants that slide up around.
Move along like another day. Move along.
That guy's penis go. That guy had a lot of courage. Good
It's
question.
ice cold in there. It's ice cold.
It's the first documented button dick. Game day stuff. That's what's being said. I didn't come up with that. That's what's being said.
It was our show, 3 hours, 15 minutes. Then it was a 2-hour gap. Then there's game day, straight in national championship field pass.
For 2 schools that are going to be talking about this day for the rest of their lives. Both of these teams being chastised from all different angles. Washington, there's no way this team from the Pac-12 in their last year with Kalen DeBoer as the head coach can continue to win. They're going to stumble somewhere. They didn't. Then you think about Michigan. 2 separate suspensions for their head coach, and all they've done is stay the course. And tonight, banners, rings, reunion conversations forever on the line. What an honor it is to be here.
Look at his belt buckle like yours, man.
Belt buckle. Like with some light ranching to do down here in Houston. He comes out of his cuts, he sees people, he shakes them, and he doesn't look anywhere near as small as you would think. He's powerful. I love Blake. A lot of NFL GMs are saying, wait a second, is Michael Penix maybe one of the top 3 guys to go to the NFL? Because what he does with a football is stupendous.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the national championship game for the 2023 college football season. That'll see the Washington Huskies representing the Pac-12 in its final year, taking on that team led by that man, the Michigan Wolverines and Jim Harbaugh. We're bouncing. We are house calling. Donovan Edwards, touchdown in the national championship. Extra point is up and good. D-Butt with the one-hand grab, start the national championship. And maybe D-Butt. Con man, what's the decibels over there? Yeah, Pat, the decibels are high right now. Let me tell you, it's 106.4. This might be the line. Decibel meter, we have actual gimmicks. Depending upon the night, is JJ
AJ go to the NFL, which Mel Kiper has him as the 5th-rated quarterback in the draft. What does that mean, Mel?
Well, it means that he's got the physical and tangible tools in his head to be a first-round quarterback. I think whether he wins or loses. Oh,
Donovan Edwards running into our lap. That's 2 for the Michigan Wolverines and 2 for Donovan Edwards.
Pete Thamel, how long's that sign blocker been doing it, and how has he gotten to a level where he's the best in the game?
He's been a Michigan man for quite some time now. And obviously, he wouldn't have a job if it wasn't for that pesky bastard Connor Stallions. But Coach Harbaugh, he found a place for him in the Michigan family.
A beautiful moment between the Harbaugh brothers on the sideline. The one on the right there, #1 seed in the AFC. The one on the left, up 17-3 in the national championship.
Third option, McMillan touchdown with a flag on Michigan. That'll stand 17-10.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Hey-o!
Michigan has the rock.
Tony dropped his mic. Tony dropped his mic.
Oh, no.
Oh, no need.
Welcome back to the national championship where elite athletes perform and Tone Diggs does something to embarrass his entire family.
I'm ready if Penix goes down. Sling. Boom!
Snap, handoff, play Corum. Has blockers. Breaks a tackle. Touchdown, Michigan. Penix is left. He hasn't looked there yet. And the Michigan Wolverines are going to be national champions for the first time in a long time. Oh, yes, we got a streaker. Security spearing the guys, losing his pants. Cops on top of him. Wow. Cross body. Wow.
Cuff him.
Cop's got his knee on his sternum. Say, listen, Michigan man.
Oh.
Bag him and tag him, boys.
I think Pink Shirt pulled a quad.
Pink Shirt is not ready.
What a win, dude.
Hey. What? Let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You pink.
Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life.
Welcome back, Hour 3, the Pat McAfee Show. I'm AJ Hawk, sitting in for Pat here at the desk. Sounds like someone may have farted a little bit there. I don't know what got picked up on the mic.
I don't hear anything.
Stanford Steve.
There we go.
Football!
Look how good this guy looks.
Pat. What's up, Pat? Who's this big, handsome guy next to you, Pat?
Well, you can't see because the date was on his forehead there. But ladies and gentlemen, a man who's been at ESPN for
20
years, former obvious beast on the gridiron for the Stanford Cardinals.
Yeah. No S on the end. Yeah, no S on the end.
What?
Thank you, AJ.
But now a weapon in the pool. This man swims in every school's pool that we go to. That is his exercise. That is his workout.
Yeah.
So every pool record, be on the lookout because this man's coming for you. Stanford Steve. What do you do? You do the freestyle?
Yeah, that's all I can
No, what do you
do.
wear is the question. Do you wear the, what are you wearing?
Oh, no, I got no Speedo. No.
Okay.
Short. Regular bathing suit. Stars and stripes.
You could shave a few seconds
T-shirt.
off.
Yeah.
Shave a few seconds
Shirtless.
off if you wore that Speedo.
Swimming 1,000. I'm swimming 1,000. And Ledecky had the pool record at A&M. And she was at 9 and change, and I came in at 21:30.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey,
On the road.
we got a number to. We got a goal.
Yep.
We got
Right?
eyes on her.
She's been at every pool.
How about every other record, though? How about every other record? Like, because Katie has, 19 of the top 20 in there,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
right? So what about the one that isn't? Are you close to that?
No.
You're going to get there, though, Steve. Why did you start swimming?
Kids are into it. Over to swimmer. We're pool, community pool, swim. Girls, my kids do it, and it's a lot easier on your body. I'll tell you that.
This guy's going to be at the Olympics.
Definitely not going to be.
Jay is just befriending every the swim community. When was the last time the football team or football people ever collaborated with the swim people? This guy's getting swim team T-shirts, diving shirts from places that has never happened before. It's like this guy's going to be maybe calling the Olympics. In 4 years.
That's
for the
Rowdy
swim.
Gaines. Rowdy Gaines is there.
Yeah, but you pop.
Ben Tone has got me motivated though.
Ben Tony.
Ben Tone.
Well, I don't think he's swimming. Tone, if you want to give him the tricks of this entire thing.
Come on, Tony.
Yeah, it's a lot of. I do a lot of swimming, to slim down. A lot of broccoli, vegetables, chicken, rice.
I don't know about that.
I mean,
a little bit I can
you
see.
haven't been here all week. That's
Guy's
all
been
he's
eating
eating
pasta
all
salad
week.
for 2 weeks in a row, nothing else.
Tony's
keto noodles.
Tony's using modern science.
Pizza Hut.
What?
Yes.
Well, no one out pizzas the Hut. So.
Hey, no one out pizzas the Hut. How many pieces did you? I had 5 pieces yesterday. I learned that this morning. I think it was worth it completely. But I had 5 pieces. AJ, did you know the Pizza Hut delivered everything off of their menu to the Thunderdome yesterday? Did you know that?
You know, I have to thank Foss or Phil or some. You know, I had some Pizza Hut delivered to my house. I came down after the show. My kids were juiced. Everyone's pumped. I had boneless wings and a pizza there.
Woo. So if Phil's ordering pizzas in Dublin, Ohio, that is certainly an awesome thing. That is a phenomenon. Phil would do that. Phil has delivered that before. This is, I believe ESPN and Pizza Hut are potentially having great conversations right now. And we would like to say thank you to ESPN because our show just on the internet as an independent show would have never been able to get in the door with Pizza Hut. That would have never happened. So ESPN bringing us together, and now we're getting my Hut box. Hut boxes delivered. I mean, it is a beautiful time to be alive. Also, as we enter into week 2, I think it's time we break down the entire slate. Stanford Steve's going to stick with us. He's on a hot streak right now on game day. Don't look now. This guy has a winning record in picking games in college.
A winning record's not red hot.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah.
it is.
All right.
Yeah,
After last year, Steve was pretty good.
Hey, I know that voice. How you doing after last night?
Terrible. Thanks for asking, Steve.
You asked for it. You got it.
Exactly. Come on now.
He's in a bad spot. He wants Tannehill, and then he hears Coach Saban talk earlier, and he's like, "Yeah, it is a medical decision. Let's let Tua figure it out." And then
it's still soccer season, though, right? He's good.
Yeah, it is. It's just
Liverpool's red hot, brother. Top of the table.
There you go. There you go.
Do you know soccer's in the middle of their 3rd World Cup right now, right? What's going on right now, Gumpy?
That's back to domestic right now. We're back in league play.
Cool.
Oh, okay.
When's Champions League? That's the one that matters, right?
Yeah, that'll be in the middle of the week coming up here. Next week. Messi's cleared to play Saturday, so it turns out he will be back.
Oh!
Wow.
Gumpy held out hope. I said there's no chance he comes back. Inter Miami.
Can't wait for that. Been waiting all year to hear that news.
When's that game? When's he playing?
Saturday night, brother.
Oh, with Noche on? No, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into the slate, shall we?
Let's do it. Here we go. First game.
Sunday.
We got your Indianapolis Colts traveling to Lambeau. The Colts are, 2.5-point favorites in Lambeau? Are you serious? Is this all because Jordan Love is out? What are you guys thinking here?
Yes.
I feel like this is the time Malik Willis is going to break out.
Okay, wow. You're reading Ty Schmidt's tweet.
There you go, Steve.
That's a Ty Schmidt.
My favorite tweet of the year so far. That got me going. That was fantastic. And you know what? It's about time for the kid.
I agree. Who says no? Who says no?
That was the first thing he said to me today. I walked in. I saw the cinnamon rolls. Steve goes, Ty's got faith in Malik Willis. Huh? That tweet's one of the greatest tweets I've ever seen in my life. And then Ty earlier today said, I was just kind of riling up the rush. He wasn't a full believer. He got you. That was
man.
Yeah, he didn't believe it.
Whoa, I believe.
There it is. Look at that.
Starting to think Malik Willis might light the league on fire.
Predicting the future.
Yeah.
He's predicting the future.
509,000 views, Ty.
New surroundings. He's ready.
LaFleur actually, I think it was back in 2017, week 2 of the season. Marcus Mariota gets hurt. He has to get Blaine Gabbert up to speed. What do? The Titans go out and win a football game. I see no reason that this weekend isn't exactly the same. Now, granted, Gabbert was with the Titans all off season, kind of knew everything that was going on. Malik Willis has only been there about 16 days, but he's heard everything everyone said. Hey, this guy's a piece of shit. This guy sucks at quarterback. He's heard all that stuff, okay? And he's ready to show the NFL, I'm not a piece of shit, okay?
Ty, why did that get 509,000 views, you think? You think everybody thought you were serious or no?
Oh, I think so. I think a lot of Packers fans.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sure.
Hey, good luck, Malik. We're pulling for you. Anyway,
love you, Malik.
Colts by 10 in Lambeau. That'll be a blast. I'll keep it at 2.5, but I'm comfortable double digits. Stanford Steve, what are your thoughts?
I think it's the under. under quarterback play. We got to wait and see. 40.5 seems like a lot. I would think 20 points wins that game.
AJ, who do you got?
Honestly, I was thinking Colts early. I like the Packers here. I like they got a recipe for success. He's not going to have to throw it all over the yard. They're going to try to hopefully run the ball, play good defense. Give me the Packers at plus 2.5 at home, which is crazy to think they're underdogs.
I'm worried about Josh Jacobs. That's kind of been the message all week, right? Josh Jacobs could potentially expose this Indianapolis Colts team that just gave up 160 to Joe Mixon last week.
Yeah, you can put 10 in the box. You can put 10 guys in the box. They're not going to throw the ball.
He's going to hurt you over the top. You know he will.
Got a big
Gus Bradley's going to do that.
Arm.
Yeah, we heard a lot about Gus Bradley yesterday.
Too much, I think. If I had to really stop laughing, Steve. There's a lot of talking about Gus Bradley on the show yesterday.
He's doing well.
It wasn't. It was not good. It was very loud and very.
Who's back?
South Carolina Cox have taken the field.
Special team.
Watch out. Cox on the loose.
That was a good ball.
That was a good catch. That was a good catch and good ball there. All right, let's get through these picks. I think we have to be off the field. They have a walkthrough going.
We'll start bopping
Giants,
through this.
Washington, plus 1.5. Malik Neighbors, good to go. Does that matter? Can Daniel Jones get him the ball and 1.5 and walk out of there a dub? Bruce Brown, you kind of told us exactly how it was going to go last week. What is your confidence level for the Giants taking on the Commanders?
I do feel better this week. I think this game goes over and Danny Dimes gets it going at least a little bit. Probably still lose in embarrassing fashion with a last-minute turnover. But I do think that the plus 1.5, losing by 1, definitely in play here.
Okay, I'll take the Commanders. I don't even know. I don't know anything about them. Okay, I saw a couple highlights from Jaden. I saw a couple lowlights from Jaden. I just have seen too much from the Giants, I think.
Daniel Jones, I believe, 5-1 against the Commanders in his career. Hasn't had a lot of success. Has had it against the Commanders. Dan Quinn, DC, at the Cowboys, never lost to the Giants. So something's got to give. I'll take the home team.
Okay. He likes the Commanders as well. AJ?
Steve, I'm with you. Give me the home team. Give me Dan Quinn and the Commanders minus 1.5 at home.
They might actually have people in the stands, too.
Unlike Carolina. We'll talk about them here in a bit.
I don't know. They'll have more. What about the next one, Pat? Chargers taking on the Carolina Panthers. Man, what are the Panthers going to be? Also, who are the Chargers?
Trash.
I have a fun fact on this one. Teams that lose by 35 plus points, and then the next week are dogs of 4+ points. 50, 18, and 2 ATS last 20 years.
Get back game.
Yeah, a lot of get back games there.
You don't embarrass us and then us not cover the next week. That ain't how this whole thing goes. Give me the Los Angeles Chargers -5, and all because Herbert's going to be ready for the Harbaugh assault that's going to come before the game. And they're going to have to bring their own juice because we know that place is going to be empty. So I think Harbaugh is the determining factor in the dub. Give me the Chargers -5.
Under 39.5.
Okay. Doesn't think anybody's going to be able to do anything. Carolina Panthers defense is going to play well. Who'd they lose, though, on the defensive side? They lost somebody. Best player.
Brown. From Auburn. Yeah, Brown. Big single digit.
AJ, who do you like?
Early body clock game for the Chargers, 10 a.m. start. Pacific. There's a lot of those this week.
They love that. The Harbaugh's got them trained up.
Dialed in.
Harbaugh's got them trained up for that. Give me the Chargers -5, Pat.
Jets, Titans. Jets favored by 3.5 in Nashville. Will Levis so close to a dub against Caleb Williams in Chicago. Obviously, the end of that game goes the way the end of that game went, and everybody's still talking about it. Will Levis has taken a lot of heat this week. A lot of people saying this guy doesn't know football. This guy stinks. Callahan's start, obviously not perfect to his career as the head coach in Tennessee. And then the Jets take on a San Francisco 49ers team on Monday Night Football that was in midseason form. And some Jets fans wanted to jump off the plane pretty early in this entire thing. Steve, how do you feel about this matchup?
Love the personnel on both defenses. I think the Jets get it going. I'll take the Jets -3.5.
AJ, you the same?
Yeah, Jets -3.5 all day for me.
Clean sweep. We want a happy Tuesday. San Francisco 49ers taking on the Minneapolis.
What's up? You getting choked up?
I said that's journalistic standard very low. I said I want a happy Tuesday.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I picked the Jets there. Just put that in the universe.
Good pick.
I think that's legitimately the only reason.
Yeah.
This game could go either way with like the Tennessee Titans fans that know we respect and appreciate them. Let's go Vikings, Niners. Vikings, dogs at home by 5. I'm taking the San Francisco 49ers just strictly because I'm going to do that until they prove otherwise this season. That has become my new thing I just started today.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, today.
Stay hot.
Right.
Stay hot. Niners, seeing that defense in person last Monday, they're sick. I think they're going to give Minnesota fits. I'll lay the 5.
What did you say you saw Fred Warner and Bosa?
Oh, God. just pregame, like before they're doing the bands and all that stuff, yoked out people.
Bosa's a jungle cat.
Oh my God,
isn't he? When he lines up, he's like he takes up.
His nose is in the turf, though. Yeah. Like, how do you get underneath him?
Yeah,
you can't.
And he takes up 4 yards.
Leverage. Like, you can't out leverage him.
Somebody's gonna do one of these tomorrow. I think.
You feel it?
Yeah, right here. Right here. I think.
Call your shot.
I hope they move that stanchion.
Yeah, maybe.
Hit their head off of that.
Not a lot of room in the end zone either.
Yeah, well, they like to get on top of you. You know, make a real home field advantage. All right, I like the Niners. AJ, who do you got?
Yeah, I like the Niners -5 here. Yeah, they just until they prove me different, prove me wrong. I love the Niners and what they're doing.
Yeah.
Saints, Cowboys. Saints getting 6 points after beating the hell out of the Carolina Panthers. Dallas Cowboys did the same thing to the Cleveland Browns. They're in Jerry world. Anything we need to know about this game, boys?
Cowboys are very, 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 very good at home the last few years under Mike McCarthy. They don't have the exact numbers, but I don't think they lost last year at home, if I remember correctly, until the playoffs.
Except for in the playoffs. Yeah, I'll take the Cowboys -6. Feel like vibes are very high over there. Stanford Steve, how do you view the game?
I believe these two head coaches are at the top of the list for coaches first to be fired.
Whoa.
So a loss would not be good. Feels like Dallas should be given more here, right? Tone touched about how good they are at home. I'll take the 6. That line stinks.
I mean, yeah, give me Dallas at home -6. Yeah, I know. I think the Saints are legit as well, but I like Dallas at home even before I heard Tone stats talking about them winning.
There's bonfire somewhere down here.
That's propane.
No, you smell propane? I smell fire.
Fire.
A little bit of both.
Propane fire.
What do you think?
Propane fire's not good, right?
Propane, bad. Propane make fire.
Fire make whiskey. Hot dogs. Seattle Seahawks taking on the New England Patriots. Connor, you guys are undefeated. Does that continue?
Yes, it does. Allegedly, Kenneth Walker has not practiced all week dealing with an oblique injury. Obviously, they still have Charbonnet as their backup running back, still solid, but no Kenneth Walker. DK Metcalf, I believe, has some early onset gonzo flu. So if I'm looking at this game from an unbiased perspective, I would find it hard to bet against the Patriots as home dogs. Also, Malcolm Butler is the keeper of the light, which is what they're calling the person who rings the bell in the lighthouse in New England this weekend. It's going to be a rompous atmosphere.
A keeper of the light.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of cool. I mean, I wasn't sure
That thing's
at first,
way up there, too.
Yeah, it's high.
Way up there.
All by himself up there? How's this going to go? Is he turning on the light like a light switch? How's it go?
They ring the bell, the lighthouse. I think, and this is just me kind of foreseeing what the pre-game atmosphere will be. I assume they have the Seattle Seahawks, New England Patriots, Lombardi up there, kind of throw it in their face a little bit. And then, there's some other people. I'm sure his family will be up there. He'll probably have his jersey on. He'll ring the bell like a fucking lunatic because he is. And then, the Patriots will go on, run the ball down their throat, and we'll probably win in an electrifying 17-9 game.
Okay.
All right, I'll take the Patriots +3.5 just
Finally!
because this.
Boom! Welcome to the wagon, baby. You can be a Pats fan this year. You can, you should, and you can.
Nope. This is strictly business, baby. Okay. The Patriots aren't going to be able to be picked, I think, later in the season, potentially.
Whoa.
What's that?
They're probably not Thursday. They're playing the Jets at New York in their home opener on Thursday, primetime, Thursday Night Football.
Wait a minute. Not a bad little set. Give me the Patriots +3.5. Steve, how do you feel like that one goes?
Seattle wins 7-3, so that's more than I'll take Seattle.
You're dead.
Okay.
You're dead.
7-3.
You're dead to me, Steve. You're dead to me.
Who's better on a hit rate when they say they are hearing stuff? Ty or Connor?
Ty.
Yeah?
No,
What?
Connor hears a lot, though. Connor hears a lot.
I know, that's what I'm saying. They both are very dialed in.
Yeah, Connor hears a lot, though, like not sports stuff. Like the bird stuff.
No, I'm
Ducks. You like
Yeah.
ducks?
Hey, you hear about these cats? They're in the ports.
All right, okay.
Snatching up ducks, breaking their necks, and eating them, Steve. They're eating them.
I drove by my way.
See, that's what we're talking about.
bad.
You stopped there on your way here?
Breaking their necks.
You broke a neck on your
I
way
didn't
here?
Stop. I drove by the region.
I hope you're proud of yourself.
he's talking
I hope
about.
you're really proud of yourself. Jeez Louise.
Hey, with that being said, give me the Seahawks -3.5
Fuck
on the
you.
road.
Fuck
Here we go.
Son of a bitch.
Browns Jaguars. What are you guys thinking over there?
Browns obviously coming off of what just happened against the Dallas Cowboys. There's a lot surrounding that that team right now. Very, very, very serious, heavy stuff starting to reemerge there. So for that reason, give me the Jacksonville Jaguars to give one up against the Miami Dolphins a week ago. I just, in my eyes, let's get Trevor Lawrence back on track. And the Browns, what is their story going to be this year? I'm fascinated. I'm very fascinated.
All I've heard is how much money books are taking on Jacksonville, and this line stays at 3. That's scary, but I can't get that performance by Cleveland out of my head. I'll take Jacksonville -3.
Okay. You just said something that Tone says a lot. The books feel very comfortable where the line is.
Yeah.
What's the public percentage, Tone? What's the
Oh, God, it was at 80 the other day.
No.
Yeah.
Browns got a lot of people hurt, too, don't they?
Yeah, we just pulled up the injury report.
Yeah,
I
it's
believe.
85, Jags.
85. Yeah, that's scary.
85?
And they haven't moved. They haven't put the hook on it.
Hold on, though. Didn't we hit an 88%er last year?
Yes.
I mean, we hit last
I think
night.
it was-
Last night the Bills were 75 or 73, something like that.
No, we're not worried about shit. These sports books don't know.
No.
Too early.
Okay.
They don't know as much as us. AJ, you with us or are you going with everything else?
Give me the Browns +3 on the road.
Okay.
To get back. I'm a big get back game guy. I think that's,
There you
that's
go.
what they're going to
You
happen.
said that with a straight face, too.
Raiders, Ravens favored by 9 at home. AJ Hawk, how do you feel?
9 feels like a lot of points, but you know what? Give me the Ravens -9 at home.
I think it's the blowout of the weekend. Ravens -9.
All right, I'll take the Raiders +9.
Oh,
really? Just because of the way you guys reacted there. Yeah, but look at how everybody just reacted. Like, we just had an 80%er, and then this was just the natural reaction here. At some point, something's going to happen. What if I get these two flipped? I'm going to be bummed out about it. Lamar Jackson, all the way back healthy. Runs somebody over, gets an extra rest day on a Monday. Now he's back feeling better than ever. Zay's doing his thing. We got Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely. Kansas City Chiefs, so beat him.
Yeah.
But it was just by a toe.
But think about the O-line, D-line, too.
Raiders post Noche.
Yeah,
right.
it is Noche.
The Noche bump.
Give me the Ravens. Give me the Ravens. -9 at home. Give me the Ravens. Give me the Ravens. 9 points is a lot of points. Give me the Raiders +9. I'll take the Raiders +9. Gardner Minshew. This feels like a Gardner Minshew. Is Gardner Minshew still quarterback?
Roll it to the tight ends.
Yep.
For at least the first quarter.
And if you do recall, he did beat the Ravens last year.
Did.
Oh, yeah, I do recall.
Oh, yeah.
I do recall. With a coach. What's that? What
With
were you
the
saying?
coach.
Lou
I thought you said with a
Getsy's
coach.
a terrible OC as well.
Whoa.
He
Wow.
Jeez Louise.
Thought it was positive vibe Friday.
Feel good Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gump, just because
I did forget it was
Not enough.
positive vibe Friday as well. That's on me.
There.
Dolphins fan. Let's get the mood back here.
Pierce
It is
was
also-
the first
24-hour rule.
coach. Pierce was the first coach to come out and say Tua has to retire, so that might be Gumpy's angle as well.
Did they play the Raiders this year?
that
Maybe
could
just
be a
worry about
personal-
the Ravens on Sunday, you know?
Is Pierce the first coach in the NFL to wear earring?
McDaniel didn't?
Belichick had a run for a little. He was a pirate.
I remember
I do remember that.
I do remember that.
He had the parrot.
Coughlin had the big
Yeah.
hoop earrings for a while.
Yep, Coughlin did. He had the big gauge.
Definitely
huge
did not.
one, the gauge ones.
Bill Cowher put one on his chin.
Yeah, he
Remember
did.
that?
But I think he is.
Tongue
Yeah,
ring?
I think he
Anyone-
probably
anyone
is.
have a tongue or
Looks
nose
sweet.
ring?
Yeah.
Romeo Cornell
Looks
had
incredible.
the bowl.
Yeah, Zeke
Yeah.
has that, the
Yep.
bull ring.
I think Jay Gruden had the tongue ring.
Okay.
Who had the connection from the ear to the nose? Who did that? Who was the?
that was Adam
Art
Gase.
Shell? Oh.
It was Adam Gase. Mike
Gase for a
Mike
couple.
Nolan and Jim Tom Solo also experienced with that a little bit.
Adam Gase had the pocket watch into the nose.
Yeah.
You remember
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Sweet.
That's why his eyes were always so wide open because it was getting kind of pulled down.
Who had the
entire
Prince
time.
Albert?
Prince Albert?
Anyone have
Artie
balls?
Smith. Artie Smith.
And he still has it.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
had there. Has.
He learned it from Mangino. He got it from Mangino.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
With
the
whistle.
man genius.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Mangini. Mangino.
Yeah.
Mark talking about
Mangino.
Mark Mangino.
Yeah, with the whistle and yeah, we get it. Okay,
The
let's go.
shower dumps. Yep.
All right, let's go. Tampa Bay.
That can't be real.
It
Tampa Bay +7.
It is 100%
at
confirmed
Detroit.
real.
But you're not mushing turds
I
down
was
a
just
drain.
waiting
You
for it
can't
to
mush
come
turds
out.
Use
down
the
a drain.
fire hose.
Yeah,
You
Look
can do
at that
everything with a
man,
fire hose.
damn
He was
it.
using his foot. He was using
You
his
can't
foot.
mush
He was
turds
doing
down
it.
a drain. I
Yes,
bet
you
they're
can.
big,
Yeah,
solid
he
ones.
can. He
AJ.
figured it out. He's there for what, 10 years doing it. I mean,
toilet-
he's
the
probably
toilet
seen it
couldn't
all.
Give me the
Order.
Bucks +7 at Detroit.
People are worried about dude wipes, one per time. How about one? All right.
Need a blender for
Different
those,
time-
though.
Different time. back
I
then.
agree. I agree with AJ.
Oh,
it was
okay,
7.5.
Who
Yeah,
are
can
you
we
got?
get it
Buccaneers.
7.5?
You guys think you're going to roll into Eminem's town? Okay. And Foxy, what's this all about? What's this all about, Foxy?
I have a gambling stat for you guys, so I don't hate their picks. The Lions in the MCDC era are 38-17 since 2001. That's the best since 2001. So at some point, these books are going to get smart. They're going to overcompensate. That's what I think this line is right here.
There you go.
Nice.
Wow. Foxy, good
Thanks,
take.
Foxy.
It's a playoff rematch.
Okay. I'll take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers +7 because Foxy doesn't think the Lions can
Clean
cover.
sweep.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of that. Rams, Cards. Cards, 1-point favorites at home. Give me the Rams. That feels weird.
Give me the Rams, too. No question.
Lombo loves the Rams. That was his pick yesterday.
They
Loves
played well
the Rams.
last week. Played well.
Love the over. 47.5. Go over.
What if you were to lean though in that one? Which one?
Rams.
What?
I got the Rams winning that division.
Okay.
Wow.
You just said
Before the season.
okay. Then you saw the boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then that's interesting. You like the Rams going to run with no.
Then I saw San Francisco in person.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Then you saw the boys. Yeah.
Not great.
Steelers, Broncos. Pittsburgh Steelers favored by 2.5 with Justin Fields, right? Because Russell Wilson said a lot of stuff about his calf, and then if he had to go, he would go, but he didn't.
He's still going to be suited up.
Of course.
Well, he's always going to be suited.
Questionable now, too.
Yeah, it'll be Fields, and Fields, he sat Russ down and he said, "We'll win this one for you, Russ. What them boys did to you last year was not good, and I'm going to have your back."
There we go.
Okay, it's a rally game for Broncos country. Let's ride. The face paint on Russell Wilson's face when he's fully padded on his side?
Yeah.
No.
You don't think
He wears tape.
Yeah,
He
whatever
wears
it
the
is.
tape eye black.
Yeah, but he'll have that on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's on.
He's one play away.
No, he's not. He's like,
Yeah. He might. He's there for the team.
yeah, but he's not going to play, though, right? Because if he could play, he would start, right? Isn't that kind of the conversation? Or is Justin Fields the starter of this team? Because I saw Justin Fields just gave a great answer where he said, I don't care about the stats. It's my job to lead the team to a win. You got to love to hear that, Tone.
Yeah, I do, because that kid is all about winning. He's always been all about winning. That's why he came to the Steelers. Yeah, he'll be the starter until Russ is fully healthy. And Russ kind of let it out that the injury for the calf in training camp might have been a little more serious than when it was let on originally.
Yeah, it was 2 months ago. It's still lingering, and he looks awesome.
There you go. He's got the tape.
Is that tape?
Yeah, he's got the tape.
And then he has it dragged down a little bit. He pulls the.
I don't know, Steve.
Oh,
It does
wow.
look
He
like
must have
tape,
switched.
but it looks like he might have the
Might
real
have
eye
both.
black
It's
under it.
Perfectly done.
Probably both.
Yeah, it might do, but you're right.
Yeah,
Tape
well,
on top.
He actually has a stencil that he puts around his eyes. He wears a mask and then he sprays it on. Yeah.
Traces
Like
it. He
Batman?
traces it.
And that makes sense because he's Mr. Unlimited. Tone, I saw some quotes floating around from Marty Smith. A lot of people think that Justin Fields was limited, not unlimited, in the middle of the field last week. Is that true? Justin Fields can't make a throw in the middle of the field? Is that?
Listen, Artie Smith said, hey, the Steelers got a Jason Bourne and the Falcons got a Jason Bourne. And that Jason Bourne is Jesse Bates for the Falcons, and we're not going to let him ruin it. We're not going to let him make plays. So we're going to kill him with indifference. We're going to throw outside the hashes. And guess what? Our Jason Bourne, TJ Watt, wrecked the game. Okay, that's just Artie Smith knowing football and being a good OC. Matt Canada would have thrown that thing down the middle all day last year, okay, and let Jesse Bates win that game. Not Artie Smith, my friend.
Yeah, Artie Smith came out and said the reason why we didn't throw over the middle with Justin Fields, a lot of people were showcasing his targets and where he was throwing. This guy can't see every line. He's scared to throw the ball over the middle. You're going to have to be able to complete a pass down the middle of the field if you want to win a game, Justin Fields. That's what a lot of people were saying. Artie Smith said, you think we were calling any throw the ball down the middle of the field? Jesse Bates is sitting over there. And look what Atlanta did with TJ Watt. They didn't even know he was on the field. He took over. Jesse Bates didn't. We win. We move on. Give me Justin Fields. Even though I love Sean Payton, give me Justin Fields favored by 2.5 on the road a mile high.
Give me the Broncos. Steve, sorry to step on you. I was excited for my Broncos pick. I think TJ's still going to have a monster game. I just hope he doesn't completely wreck the game. Let's put 3 guys on him every single play.
Son of a bitch.
Patrick Surtain. I mean, there's a good defense over there, isn't there?
A lot of attempts for Bo Nix, not a lot of yards last week.
Oh! He's due. You're saying he's due.
Okay.
He's no Drake May, just say it.
Bengals, Kansas City Chiefs. This is the highest price ticket of the weekend. If you ask our friends at SeatGeek, obviously this is one that's built up all offseason. The Cincinnati Bengals have had the Kansas City Chiefs number. That's what everybody's saying. Joey B is the one that can slay the Patrick Mahomes beast. He's the only one that's been able to walk in, stare him down, and handle it. Now, does that mean anything when you haven't won a Super Bowl? I don't know. In Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce trying to go for 3 straight. First team to ever do that. Joey B and the Bengals are seemingly getting things sorted. Jamar Chase, no sounds of anything wrong this week. There's a watch party happening in Paycor. You pay $99, you get 50 back. Now, the 50 back goes to the pro shop and the concession stands, but you still having a good time at Paycor watching the Chiefs and Bengals battle with a bunch of members of the jungle. Give me the Kansas City Chiefs minus 5.5 strictly because of everything that the Chiefs are looking to do this year. Stanford Steve, do you like that or hate that?
Love it. Agree. Lay the 5.5. Why is it only 5.5 after what Cincinnati looked like?
Do you know what Patrick Mahomes is like whenever he's a favorite of this many? He doesn't cover. This guy doesn't remember. Chiefs didn't cover. I lost so much money. I've lost so much money over the last couple of years because they never cover. It's always like a electrifying game. That's why Showtime. So 5.5 feels like a lot for Patrick Mahomes to not cover.
Interested to see how the Bengals respond to from the physicality of New England last week.
Yeah, they beat them up, didn't they?
Yeah, but we're one of the most physical teams in the entire NFL. So like when you're talking
That's why
about
I said it.
physicality, like the Chiefs, no matter what, it's going to be easier.
It's the standard. That's the standard.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't know if that's true. We don't know anything about this Patriots team.
We know that they're 1-0, and we know that they're better than the Bengals. We know that for sure.
Well,
I'll take the Chiefs because they're at home, and it's going to be tough.
There you go.
Especially with Chiefsaholic getting that 17.5 years.
Yep. Undefeated
Feels like the boys are going to continue.
Yeah.
Go ahead, AJ.
I'll take the Chiefs at home, minus 5.5. I was waffling a bit. I want to take the Bengals, but I just I like Kansas City's defense, honestly. I really do.
Yeah.
Boy, it's getting hot out here.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh. It's thick. This is the shit. We're about to get into it. I think we're about to get into it because sun started to pop out.
Dew point.
Started to
Dew
get a
point's
little.
crazy.
Dew point's probably going bananas. The rain was supposed to keep that down. Stanford Steve is sport. Look how good this guy looks, obviously.
Fantastic.
Amazing.
Sunday night football. It's a big one. Cannot wait for Bears, Texans, Caleb, CJ. Obviously, incredible starts for both of them. Caleb threw no touchdowns. They had no touchdowns. They still win. And the Texans, Joe Mixon, Stephon Diggs, the two additions this offseason score and rampage all over the Indianapolis Colts in week 1. AJ, how do you feel about the Texans favored by almost a touchdown and extra point on Sunday Night Football at home?
Quick update. Dunze and Keenan Allen, Eberflus just said will be game time decisions.
That's not great news for the Chicago Bears, but
no, it's not.
I'm taking the Texans minus 6.5. Feels like a lot of points, but I mean, yeah, the Bears probably should not have won last week.
Yeah, you?
Love the Texans.
Me too. I've seen them.
Love the balance.
I don't like it. I don't like it that they're so good at football. I don't like that they've made the right decision.
You like that dome?
The NRG Stadium?
Yeah.
Formerly Reliance?
Monstrous.
Big, loud, good fan base. And it was a shame. Remember last year, boys, we saw the photo. They weren't even able to fill it up.
No. Nobody was there.
Now they are.
It's not the case anymore. Not the case
We saw
anymore.
some. That is not the case. It is all the way back. And when Houston and the Texans come together and for like hope, that is a loud barn. Loudest building I'd ever played in. I've said that numerous times. Houston is the loudest place I've ever played in. It was always a primetime game. It was always for something. This is Sunday Night Football. The people of Houston have looked forward to this. It's C.J. Stroud, this new era. That place is going to be bananas. Give me the Texans at home, minus 6.5. Steve, we can't thank you enough, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Steve. When we get them on the road?
Maybe next week. We're eyeballing next week. I don't want to go to a place thought South Carolina was going to be 1,000 degrees. It is not. Could have done the show here, but we don't want to run into another on the surface of the sun situation like at West Virginia.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. You did really good,
See you,
Steve.
Steve.
Good job, Steve. Thank you.
You did really good, Steve. You should be proud of yourself. That's 20 years at ESPN, dude.
Yeah,
Crazy. Legend.
he's tall.
All right. Boys, they got a walkthrough happening right behind us. I don't think we're allowed to film.
Yeah.
I will say they felt pretty loose, haven't they? They felt pretty loose.
Yeah, team looks good.
Been throwing around.
What's the
Big
line
LSU.
tomorrow?
6.5 or 7, depending on where you get it at. LSU is favored. Maybe it got so hot
You wanna
because Brian Kelly just showed up and you could feel his
Yeah,
rage.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it. Oh, you thought it was rage. I thought it was his he brought the sunshine out, because he was doing.
That's what people say about him.
I'm throwing up these L's. All right. I'm going to get the hell out of here. This should be a fun time down here in South Carolina. Cannot wait for a great college football slate tomorrow. Then a full NFL Sunday. Then Monday Night Football. Overreaction Monday. Bill Belichick. I can't wait to chat with him. How's that? How do we think that's going to go? We think it's going to go good?
Oh, yeah. Like gangbusters.
I hope so. I hope so.
It's going to be awesome.
There was a couple press conference bills, the last couple of weeks. And there's been a few of those.
There's been a few of them.
There's been a few of those. I wonder if we'll be able to crack the code. I wonder if we'll be able to crack.
Oh, yeah.
We will.
We will.
I think we will too. I think we will too. Football is going to be amazing this year. We're lucky to do it. AJ, thank you for traveling to Indianapolis. Hey, boys, how about AJ, this guy with the sledgehammer?
What a guy. Way to go, AJ. What a guy. What a guy.
Way to go, Gump.
Hey, Toxic Table, what a week, huh? Pizza Hut?
What a week.
Good stuff.
Going out Pizza Hut, brother. You know it.
Nope.
Hey, Tone Diggs, one half of the Hammer. Dahn. Cowboys, AP Tone. Big Ram Trucks week. Okay.
Huge Ram truck. Nothing like a Ram truck, baby. Tough, dependable, fast, quick, powerful.
Just like you.
No, I have none of those things.
Yeah, if you can feel it, you chase it. Boys in the back. With you guys have been chasing greatness for a long time. You've damn near captured perfection. Great work back there, boys.
Hell yeah, boys.
Woo! Hey, graphics department, the GDB. Really good work. Another week. You guys are stacking weeks. You guys used to be the but now you're the We all know.
Nice job, boys.
Good job, boys.
They're almost on a one-way trip out of the Thunderdome. All of them. Every one of them. And then bang, flips the switch. Best in the league.
Best in the league.
Nice.
No questions asked. Very lucky for everybody. Very thankful for everybody. Thank you for allowing us to do this for a living. We'll be back on Monday, Overreaction Monday. College Game Day tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern from Columbia, South Carolina. Be a friend. Tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. We're in this thing together. Team on me. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3. Team. Goodbye.